Heyo.
Hello.
Hi.
Fuck this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Another
Fuck it. Fuck
fucking
it.
episode. That's what we're doing here.
We're actually gonna fuck two movies,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be fuck these movies.
And one of these movies has quite a bit of fucking in it. The other one just murder. But
Yeah.
the one has a bunch of fucking and
Yeah.
murder.
And boobs.
Yeah.
A lot of boobs.
Lots of boobs, lots
Yeah.
of butt, lots of bush.
So
Spoilers, spoilers.
Yeah, there's a lot of bush.
Oh shit.
It was made in a time when women still had those.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
So let's kick this off with some intros. To my left, we have the king of the horny nuns, Mr. Reese Weiler.
finally get switched positions.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Switching positions with those
He likes to
nuns.
switch
Master.
positions with those nuns at every opportunity, clearly.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, to my right, we have the professional skin engraver, owner
Yeah.
proprietor.
It's the guy that does what he does. That's me.
He's too old to be cool, Mr. John Brown.
It's absolutely true. Tell that. I don't even think I'm cool anymore.
I'm the other guy.
The
Dustin
other
Holler.
guy. We're all guys here. Doing
So,
guy stuff.
another 2 weeks have passed.
Yeah.
Another episode about to be in the books in the next 90 minutes or so.
Yeah.
What
Or so.
What have you guys been watching? What's
Oh, you want to take it since we switched rotation?
Yeah, I got a pile. Oh man, and some very good stuff, great stuff. Honestly, I watched. I was continuing to work through all of John Carpenter's movies
Yeah.
that I haven't seen since we got started right at the beginning of the year with that double feature. I watched his debut feature film, Dark Star. It's almost the exact plot of Alien, but it came out a few years before, and it's just
Right.
like a weird, quirky comedy.
So he ripped
Honestly,
himself off?
huh? Yeah. Well, he didn't do Alien. That was Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
But it actually is the same writer, Dan O'Bannon.
But I mean, the Thing. Is,
yeah. You can
like very much that world.
Yeah, for sure. And I was impressed for a feature, like a debut feature. And I think it's basically a student film, like probably zero budget, and obviously no actors you'd recognize.
Is this like 70s?
1974.
1974.
Yeah. Like really, I was really impressed. Like the sets look pretty great. The actors are like honestly pretty good.
Yeah.
Like they are fully committed. They're not like they don't feel like porn actors, which is like every low budget movie from the 70s just feels like porn acting. But like I thought it was great.
Well, I mean,
I'll have to check that
if
out.
the only movies from the 70s you watch are porn, then
I guess
that's probably a thing. You know what though? In those 70s porns, they do have bushes.
Bringing it back.
Oh shit.
I also watched his movie from 2001, Ghosts of Mars.
It's not great.
It's not. No, it's not.
I like parts of it. I can appreciate some of the.
Honestly, I like the premise.
Yeah,
here's
the premise
my thing
is a
with
good
Ghost
premise.
of Mars.
It's just kind of like the filmmaking falls apart.
Yeah.
This is a movie that I've seen. I know I've seen.
Yeah.
Remember completely hating it. Can't remember one solid point for why I didn't like the movie.
Yeah.
Like if you asked me to argue why I hated the movie, I could not. I don't remember anything about it. That's about the worst thing I could say about a movie.
I would say it is very forgettable.
Yeah, no, it's just like it's pretty typical sci-fi stuff. The premise is, like you said, I think the premise is actually pretty solid, and like it's a little different take on Martian stuff because basically like somebody mining on Mars unleashes.
They're like underground dwellers or something. Right?
Well, no, it's not unleashing creatures. It's like a
spirits.
Like
they start
like
possessing
ancient Martian
the people
spirits.
on Mars.
Yeah.
It's been way too long.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of just treat them like vampires, but it is called Ghosts of Mars.
Well, they
vampires.
they pretty much make the people that become inhabited just become like super fucking like vicious and like it's very very akin to the third Return of the Living Dead. Like the chick fucking cutting herself up to like feel alive. Like it has that vibe for all the character design.
It also just blends in with so many action sci-fi movies from that time.
Sure,
like
it has to be one
Chronicles
of
of
his
Riddick.
one of his worst movies. This
worst movie. I would hope it's.
It's better than fucking Escape from L.A.
I'll say
that. It's better than that piece of shit, dude. That movie is fucking atrocious.
It's
what
definitely
if Escape from New York didn't exist? Then is
Escape from New York was fine.
I know, great. But if it didn't exist, does that make Escape from LA better?
No, by no means. No, that's just a fucking hot pile of shit, man. All right.
It's the worst of his I've seen so far, but I've got a couple real bad ones to go. So,
they could be gems. You don't know.
They could be. I mean, I was impressed by Dark Star. So
but that's like early. So that's obviously like later it gets shakier. You know.
Yeah, you want that in between.
Yeah.
Post Dark Star, pre Ghosts of Mars.
mid 80s, man, right there. Yeah. That's where you want mid 80s. That's the creme de la creme of John Carpenter right there.
I watched a movie nominated for a bunch of Oscars this year called American Fiction.
Yeah, how was that?
It was okay. I wasn't extremely impressed about it. Definitely don't watch the trailers like a lot of modern movies because they just lead you astray. Like there's like a subplot to the movie and they make you think it's the whole movie and it's just a goofy comedy and it's not that really at all.
My favorite is when the trailer makes you think that somebody is like the lead and then that person dies like before the opening credits are done rolling.
They did that with Bryan Cranston in the Godzilla movie.
Oh yeah,
he dies in the first 10 minutes, and the trailer made you think
longer
he was
than 10 minutes. Just like
character.
I think he dies about like the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, but it's early.
It's not like
the classic was
he dies before you see Godzilla.
Yeah.
The classic was you remember Executive Decision with Kurt Russell and Steven Seagal?
No.
All right, so there's this movie called it's just like obviously bad action movie, but it's Kurt Russell and Steven.
I don't know what you're
Seagal.
talking about. Steven Seagal only makes quality movies.
But anyway, so Steven Seagal was the top billing for the movie, so his name appears first in the titles, but he dies like immediately.
Oh, that's
and Kurt Russell is literally like 95% of the screen time,
Nice.
and he's beneath Steven Seagal, who literally just dies immediately.
Yeah, it's fucked. I mean, it's fucked up to me anyway that top billing would go to Steven Seagal over Kurt Russell.
Yeah, maybe that was like an actual red herring.
It's like they wanted Steven Seagal like just to add like his name to their poster, but like there's not actually
really was he ever really a cell? I've never seen.
I think there was a small
like 5
period.
years.
Yeah, there was a
like
small
5 years.
period in the like
90s?
early 90s
Yeah.
where he was.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a single one of his movies.
You're not missing anything.
The only movie that he's in that I enjoy is Machete.
Oh, okay, I've seen that. I forgot he's in that.
Yeah, and because it's like his fucking Steven Seagalness works for the campy nature of that movie's villain. You know, so
and the washed upness of Steven Seagal works for it too.
Yeah.
I can't. I just can't make an argument for a good Steven Seagal
No,
movie
there's not
for
one
you to go watch.
No, there's.
I guess Executive Decision is the best one because he just dies immediately and then it turns into a normal action film.
Well, I mean that's the thing. Like the best you can get from that guy is like somehow supporting or like fucking tangential character in the movie. But all right.
I watched the Will Ferrell movie Holmes and Watson. It was bad.
Oh God!
Not worth your
I
time.
don't. I would not imagine.
I can
so.
only imagine how bad that is.
So the most annoying thing is that there is, I don't know, do either of you guys...
Is it Holmes and Watson or is it Homies and Watson?
I'm surprised it's not homies and Watson.
Yeah.
Actually, the tagline is probably like, "What's up, my homies?" Yeah, homies, literally just homies is the tagline.
Jesus Christ! Yeah. Rough.
I don't know.
Hey, that's cultural appropriation, man.
So fun fact about taglines. I'm making the picks at the end of this episode. We're doing 2 movies again. Spoiler. I had my 2 picks between 2 different pairs of films, and I didn't go with this pair. I'll probably go with it at a later time this year. But one of the movies in the pair I did not go with does not actually have a tagline.
Ooh.
Wow.
You go to Letterboxd, literally no tagline. It's pretty awesome.
Like Benedetta, that was like, I couldn't find one. I looked.
Oh, you couldn't? Yeah.
The one poster I had that looked like it had a tagline, it was just covered in like reviews.
The
like,
tagline was just the tagline was just the boob.
Yeah.
That was the tagline.
Now you're fucked.
Yeah.
And you.
Priests fuck things.
It just says Holy Mother Mary, but holy is spelled HOLE.
Yeah.
I watched a movie from 1984 called Streets of Fire. Have you guys heard of this?
I think I've always. Can I see that you got an image?
Streets of Fire.
I have wanted to watch that so bad.
The cast is fantastic.
What is this film?
So this is directed by Walter Hill. It's the same guy who did The Warriors, and it's very, very similar vibes.
Okay.
Including like there's literally a sequence where they have to escort somebody across the town, trying to avoid the cops.
Right.
So like,
I've seen that poster so many times, and I've wanted to watch it so bad. So
it's really fun.
Yeah.
Nice. And the music is fantastic. I love the music.
All right, I'm gonna send myself a message.
When was this?
1984. So it's a 40th anniversary.
And that's Streets of Fire.
Streets of Fire. But the cast, the lead is Michael Perry. Is that Perry? I don't know. It's the older detective from Mindhunter.
Okay.
Mindhunter?
Mm.
Yeah.
The
Netflix one?
Mindhunter. I don't
know. Mindhunter, right?
Yeah,
they're researching the serial killers.
I don't know
you haven't seen? Oh, you got to watch that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's canceled, unfortunately, but the first 2 seasons are fantastic.
Okay. Huh.
He's like the worst actor in this movie because he's got a very pretty face, and I'm guessing he just got hired like off of a runway or something. Yeah. But Diane Lane is in it. Rick Moranis. Willem Dafoe, which was honestly the biggest draw for me right now, and he's like this skinny little.
Whatever happened to Rick Moranis? I feel like
he retired from acting because his wife died, and he wanted to take care of his kids, and like he just fully wanted to give it all to his kids. He did not want to half-ass it at all.
I had a really humorous follow-up to my question. That you just totally took the wind out of my sails.
I mean, he shrunk himself.
So
He's such a good guy.
we will move on.
No, he's honestly like I bet
Damn it. Why is Rick Moranis such a good person?
Honestly, like every single Ghostbusters they've done for the past like few years, they like beg him to come back.
Oh,
He's
God.
like, nah, I'm good, guys.
Yeah.
Which like good for him because those
You
movies
know
are
what?
pretty bad.
Dude, that's fucking awesome to be like, yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
I got it under my belt. I got enough. I was an idiot with my money, so fuck y'all. I'm good.
Yeah, not to mention, if he was still acting, he'd still be playing like the dorky teenager. Like, today, like,
Well,
this
he
year,
played
there would
the
be a movie
dorky
coming out when
dad
he
like
plays an
40 times in a
18-year-old.
row. And Bill Paxton is also in it.
Nice.
He's
But
He's dead.
he is dead. Yes.
He's good for those movies, though. The fucking fun,
Yeah, those
wacky.
did
Did you ever see the vampire movie that he was in?
is
Bill
it
Paxton?
Yeah.
Dark something? Is it
Yeah, you know,
Near Dark? Is it called Near
I
Dark?
think so. Yeah.
I did.
It has the guy that played Bishop from Alien in the movie as well.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
vampire.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
That was a fun one.
But yeah, Streets of Fire. I thought it was very fun. Willem Dafoe, like I was saying, he's just the skinny little like leather biker guy. And then I was looking at his movies because I want to watch more of his like older, lesser known stuff. And he apparently got typecast for a little while because he's in Cry Baby, that Johnny Depp movie.
Are you talking about Willem Dafoe?
He's in
Willem Dafoe,
Crybaby? Huh.
yeah. And I'm assuming he plays like
Some little
a
greasy,
leather-bound
yeah.
biker guy. And then he's in where's this movie? This movie called Loveless.
Oh,
And
yeah.
again, this skinny little guy wearing
biker
black
guy.
leather.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You know when he became cool.
Oh, there's a better picture of him.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe became cool in what I think is one of the greatest war movies of all time, Platoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the best part of Platoon, and like he was the first time I ever saw Willem Dafoe was in Platoon. I was just like, God damn, that guy has creepy eyes, and he's a cool motherfucker.
I think the first time I had seen him was Boondock Saints.
Boondock Saints.
First time
That I saw him and really registered. I think I probably saw him in Platoon first because I saw Platoon first. I'm sure, but like really like paid any attention.
I'll tell you what, man. We watched Platoon, and we will eventually, as a group, I'm sure, because I love the movie.
Yeah.
And you notice a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's
Johnny
a
Depp's in
lot of
that, too.
motherfuckers. It's Johnny Depp's first movie. It's like Kevin Dillon's first movie.
Yeah.
It's like you notice a lot of people just walking around.
More movies seem to have a knack for that of being breakout stars for young men. But
I guess it wasn't Johnny Depp's first movie. It was
I was
his
gonna
second
say,
movie.
Yeah, his
first movie
one-
was A Nightmare on Elm Street.
yeah, the first movie. Do you know the first movie I saw Willem Dafoe in?
How would I know that?
It's a guess. Did
Oh,
you want to guess?
okay.
Spider-Man.
Oh.
Green
Yeah,
Goblin.
I
Spider-
know,
Jesus
actually-
Christ, you guys are aging yourself. like John named, like he says his first Willem Dafoe movie was a movie that like I worked at
Mid-90s?
Blockbuster when the movie came out when I was like 19.
Oh, no, that's the first time I
And,
like
like,
registered and cared
and
about
then,
Willem Dafoe.
oh my god, Spider-Man.
That one's
He's
pretty
great
edgy.
in it.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
Christ,
he was
dude.
born to be a villain. I mean,
that might be true.
Which I don't know. That's not even true because like the movies he plays like a gentle character in, like Poor Things. He's fantastic in.
He's just good.
I love him.
That's he's.
I love
fucking-
him in Poor Things. I
Yeah.
just fucking love his.
Honestly, Willem
Poor
Dafoe
Things.
is just one of the actors that doesn't get celebrated enough.
I think he's like an all-timer.
He's fucking fantastic.
By the way, I probably shouldn't say this online, but we have this the special account that we watch movies on sometimes.
Oh,
Yeah. And anyway, Poor Things has been added to it.
nice. Yeah, it's also available to buy and stuff on.
As soon as it becomes available to buy, it gets added to that.
Right.
Basically.
I want a nice Blu-ray copy of it.
Yeah. So honestly, I don't know what you guys are doing this Friday, but
I'm watching Dune.
oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Yeah,
that comes
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Nice.
Hells yeah, IMAX.
Oh shit.
baby.
Molly was trying to get me to
Comes
do
out
that.
this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Molly was
actually-
trying to get me a bail. She's like, "Why don't you just bail on Cards Friday night? We can go watch Dune." Like, Yeah, or we could just watch it Sunday.
Yeah. I'm actually taking a couple days off this weekend, so I might
shit.
do that. That's dope.
I'm watching. If you need a movie to watch tomorrow night, I am watching the first Dune at my house. And then we'll be watching Dune 2 in IMAX.
Nice.
Well, I'm gonna watch that copy of Heavy Metal that you're loaning me.
Which I forgot to bring. So.
Yeah, I noticed that.
You can swing by my place after this if you want to.
Yeah.
I watched the directorial debut of Paul Dano called.
Did you say debut?
I did.
Yeah.
Debut. Shut up.
Debut.
All right, it's fine. It's fine. I just wanted to clarify here.
It's called Wildlife. It's starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Carey Mulligan. I really, really liked it.
Isn't it Milligan? Is it Mulligan?
What are you just gonna pick at everything I say now?
Oh, sorry. No, I'm sorry.
Jockey
I was
Gyllenhaal.
picking at you the first time, but this was an actual question. Is her name actually Mulligan or is it Milligan?
No, it's Mulligan.
Oh my God,
It's
that's
spelled the
a
exact
terrible
same
name. I think she should pronounce it Milligan. Mulligan, that's like a do-over.
The doctor
literally her
doctor
name
pulled
is
her out.
literally do-over.
Oh, you guys, you want to try again?
So really good. Another good
just
credit to Jake Gyllenhaal.
Just a real performance based drama.
Nice.
Really, really dug it. Jake Gyllenhaal's, as of always, of course, totally owned it. But Carey Mulligan was fantastic in her own right. I highly recommend it. I have the Blu-ray. If you'd like to borrow it, it's the Criterion. It might also be on the Criterion channel. So.
Oh yeah, probably.
Next, I went to the theater. My friend wanted to see a movie, and he said he would pay for my ticket if I went with him. So we went to go see Madam Web.
Nice.
And it is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in theaters, but
What is Madam Web?
So funny.
Some random Marvel thing.
Yeah, it's connected to the Venom movies and Morbius and that Kraven the Hunter movie that's coming out. It's stupid that they made a movie about her because no one has read any Madam Web comics. She's like a fourth tier Spider-Man character. But they decided to make a movie about her.
Hey, it's adjacent to Spider-Man. So
it's adjacent. That's all Sony has the rights to is slightly connected to Spider-Man characters. But I fucking laughed my ass off. It was so fun. I mean, I wouldn't go see it alone. I definitely try and go see it with people who have the same mindset. But if you want to see a fucking funny movie, this has some of the most egregiously. This is level of the Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. Yeah,
the Suicide Squad
is a good one.
Yeah, it's that level of movie, but funny. That movie was just it made me angry how bad it was. This I was busting a gut.
No, Suicide Squad is a bad one.
Whichever the bad one was.
The bad one was.
Some of the dialogue and shit is in what world did this sound natural to you? What the one that I couldn't stop thinking about is the villain kills somebody and says, "Believe me, it's a good day that you didn't know today was the day you were going to die." That's almost exactly what he says.
Jesus Christ, how long did it take you to memorize that? Did you
so
rewind and watch the scene over? Was it a good scene?
It just burned into my brain. It was so bad. It was incredible.
I think I'd be fucking around on my phone by that point.
Well, my friend and I were just laughing our asses off.
Oh yeah. No, it's fun to laugh at just really bad fucking movies. It is.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
I rewatched the Dungeons and Dragons movie. Still great.
Still fantastic. I have to assume. I think that's going to be a yearly thing for me.
Yeah.
Is watching that movie and I've watched it. I watched it immediately after watching it for the first time, and it fucking was just
I still only seen it once. I saw it in the theater once, and
dude, it's fucking just.
I'm glad I saw it in the theater.
Good.
I thought it was theater worthy.
Oh, definitely,
it is.
Yeah.
It's very theater worthy, but it's just goddamn fun. I don't know how you could slight that film at all.
No,
really.
I was really focusing on the practical effects and the animatronics and stuff. And this time, so fucking fun. Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, that's definitely been one of my favorite movies of the last 5 years. It really surprised me with exactly how good it was.
I really hope we get more in that world. I don't know if we will, but I hope we do. Continuing Willem Dafoe movies, I saw Inside Man, the Spike Lee directed Denzel Washington heist movie. Seen it?
Is he the inside man?
No, he's not.
Oh, really?
He's like the detective.
Oh, okay.
Also had Jodie Foster show up again.
I saw her in the photo there.
The Inside Man.
It's hard to.
Is Clive Owen.
All right, so it's hard for me to get on board for a Spike Lee film, even if it is.
Yeah, no. He's definitely a mixed bag. Yeah.
Like I just, I don't know. Like he has this. Here's my problem with Spike Lee. He has this knack for making these 2.5-hour movies, and getting me invested for exactly 2 hours and 24 minutes and then just pissing me off for 6 minutes at the end.
Yeah.
Like he has this knack for doing this.
I still haven't actually sat down and watched
this. And it's like, what? Just like, I don't know. If you get some spare time, watch like any two random Spike Lee movies on a like Sunday or something. And like, to me, it's like generally a pretty good movie, not a great movie, a pretty good movie. And then at the end, for some reason, 10 minutes of somebody just like spreading about the love of New York for no reason.
Right.
Like,
this is a very New York movie.
Yeah.
They all are.
Yeah.
Like Spike Lee joint.
Yeah.
You know, apparently you can only get joints in New York.
Well, you should watch. Have you seen Black Klansman? That movie doesn't take place in New York.
That's his best movie.
It is. Yeah.
The only one that doesn't take place in New York.
And I actually think it's an accident that it was like good. Like, first off, it's the only movie he does where there's no talk of New York whatsoever at any point during the movie. And the other thing is he kind of went outside of his comfort zone with the casting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess he did get Denzel's son. He's never cast Denzel's son before, but I mean,
honestly, like,
yeah,
it doesn't. That one does not really feel like a Spike Lee movie.
That's why it's his best movie.
Like the last 10 minutes, honestly, where if you remember, it goes into like literal newsreel footage of like 2016 election riot shit.
I'm glad I'm not friends with him. Like that'd be like bad advice to give to a friend. Like, dude, just like be anybody but yourself.
But this one, I don't know. I really liked Clive Owen as the bad guy. Bad guy. He's the bank robber.
He's had some moments.
Yeah, he's solid.
But yeah, I don't know, something about Spike Lee's dialogue has just some of that similarity to like M. Night Shyamalan's dialogue, where it's like everyone is so over the top with their emotions and
like if you would just like if you just focus on directing and let somebody else write this for you, it
at
might
least
be
the
a better
dialogue.
movie.
Yeah.
I've thought that with every movie I've ever seen of Spike Lee's.
Yeah.
I
feel that way about Rob Zombie. Let somebody else write this shit, bro.
No. For Rob Zombie, I'm like, why don't you go do like a zombie stripper metal music concert and let somebody else make the movies? That's where I am with Rob Zombie.
I think he's okay at like pointing a camera and like trying to get reactions out of people, but he sure as shit can't do anything else.
Yeah.
He's a better performer. Like he's better at making entertainment as a musician than he like. If you ever go to a Rob Zombie concert, it doesn't matter if you like his music or not. You go to a Rob Zombie concert, you will have a fucking blast.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Like I've seen Rob Zombie where it was like pyrotechnics and 7-foot walking robots on stage, like fire breathing robots. And I've seen the Rob Zombie show that was just jeans and t-shirt and a bunch of topless chicks in like the white zombie setting. I've seen both, and like he's a great performer as a stage musician. But like, you know, and I know his passion is old horror flicks. Like that's his shit. Yeah. Like he loves,
and the best ones are the ones that he just redid. Right?
Yeah,
like that's his best work is the shit that he redid because he like had something to work from.
And oh god, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna say. Okay, what I was gonna say, and this just pissed John off. But like, if you want, like, I feel like he should have done like White Zombie. Like actually remake the movie White Zombie.
No,
you know, like the actual classic horror shit,
sure.
Which is the stuff that he obviously likes.
He'd put his terrible wife in there, but
oh my god, she's the worst part.
But it would be okay in that movie because she'd just get like fucking strangled by a zombie. All right.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Rob Zombie, if you're listening to this podcast, which I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he and Spike Lee are like our biggest listeners.
Yeah, if you just O.J. Simpson your wife,
No.
Then all of a sudden you're a better director.
It's actually like the thing that I always say, because I actually like Rob Zombie quite a bit. Like, I like him.
I like him as an artist, just not as a film artist.
Exactly. That's what makes me so mad. Is like, dude, I like you. I want to like you, but every movie you make makes me like you less. And it's like, I don't want to not like you. Like, fucking just quit it. But it is a credit that his whole film career has pretty much just been giving his wife jobs. And like, it's a really nice thing. You know, like
he's just a nice guy.
Yeah. He's got that covered. Man.
It's a nice guy appreciation.
Hey, I got a new script for you, honey. Oh, shit. All right, moving on.
Also, Willem Dafoe in that movie. That was like 2006. I feel like that might be peak looks for Willem Dafoe. I think he might be at his best looking in 2006.
Dude, I think he's sexy all the time.
He is. And have you seen his wife? His wife is really hot. But yeah,
I assumed he was asexual.
he does give off.
I assume he hatched out of an egg and laid eggs. Like he just breeds Willem Dafoe's in like a shallow pool of water in his basement.
He's never actually done a nude scene because it's just blanked out. There's Ken doll. I watched Good Burger 2.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm sure.
So was it better than Good Burger 1?
No.
Did you watch Good Burger 1 to refresh before this?
No. See, like Good Burger 1, I watched when I was like 10 or 12. So like I loved it, right? So just leave it there.
Yeah. With
10-year-old me. I don't need it. He can keep it. I watched a lot of crap this weekend because I was sick and I wanted to watch stuff, but I didn't want to watch something good that I was going to.
Did you watch Mary Poppins?
Pass out through.
Did you a spoonful of sugar to make the medicine go down?
No, I'm not even going to go through all the shit I watched because it's like not even worth talking about.
Yeah.
But then yesterday I watched a drama. It actually just came out last year, but it was kind of under the radar. Called Showing Up, starring Michelle Williams, and it's from director Kelly Reichardt, which you might not have seen any of her movies, but they're all like just really fantastic indie dramas. First Cow, Certain Women, Wendy and Lucy, Meek's Cutoff, and Night Moves. They've all got actors in them you'd recognize.
Night Moves?
Yeah. It's got Jesse Eisenberg in it.
Oh. So not the Night Moves that we watched.
Yeah, no, I was like,
we watched Night Moves from the 70s. I think we talked about it in a previous episode.
Yeah, Gene Hackman. We're like,
starring
how
Gene
is this
Hackman.
guy's?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
is this man?
Yeah. But she's honestly a fantastic filmmaker, and Showing Up is very. I mean, it's all about art and being an artist and that relationship. And you'd honestly probably get a lot out of it.
Yeah,
not you. Would. I don't think you're. Just kidding.
Oh, okay.
Highly recommend that one. I'm accidentally paid for an extra month of the Paramount Plus Showtime, and so I'm trying to watch anything of worth to try and get my money's worth on that.
Yeah, I'm about to cancel that, so I'll watch that.
Yeah, watch it. Showing Up.
I'm about to get rid of that shit.
Then I watched a movie celebrating its 25th anniversary this year. Another rom-com, Notting Hill.
Watch that
with Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant.
Remember it.
I actually like that movie. I think that's kind of it's kind of an endearing film.
It is kind of. I mean,
like the
mainly just because of Hugh Grant.
He's a pretty endearing fucking guy. He is. Even in the D&D movie, he's fucking.
He's fantastic.
The thing I remember about it is seeing it. I saw it in the theater, and I just remember it being like a really good audience experience. Like everyone was laughing. Like it just felt like the vibe in the air of the room was really good. Seeing that one, So that one's always going to hold a special place.
I'm curious to imagine what the movie would be like without Hugh Grant, because he definitely does like make the movie. Julia Roberts is very
Julia Roberts could have been replaced by whoever the hot actress. Like you could remake it today with Hugh Grant and
honestly,
and fucking Margot Robbie, and it'd be just as good.
Part of her character's weakness is like the time period. Like they definitely did not flesh out this female character very much beyond she's a beautiful actress. Like so
she's dating Alec Baldwin, I believe it was.
Who honestly, he's only in it for like one scene and does have a lot more like emotion to his character than Julia Roberts. But dude, Hugh Grant.
Alec Baldwin is all emotion. Like that's what he is. It's just like
it's not nothing I'll be watching again. I mean, I wasn't really that impressed, but Hugh Grant. I do like Hugh Grant, which is weird because I feel like there was a time when he was like really disregarded by men as like just a foo-foo rom-com actor.
So that's the thing. Like,
he's done a lot of those.
There was a time that I would have disregarded Leonardo DiCaprio. Is that now he's like, that's the motherfucking man. You know, like at this point. So
oh man, Hugh Grant. That's probably the last notable thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got some stuff.
All right. Now we're gonna switch rotation back the other way.
Huh?
Yeah,
go
ahead.
Oh, wait, did he start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's your turn. Yeah. No. Go for it, John.
All right.
I didn't know he was being so windbaggy. Jesus Christ! We're 38 minutes into the episode, and only one
I don't have too many to talk about this week. I got
sick,
things.
And you just watch every movie ever made.
I try.
I did on a whim decide to watch. I don't know why. I mean, I know why. The wife was like, "Yeah, we should watch this," and I'm like, "It's really bad, but if you really want to, we'll watch it." I watched the second Cabin Fever, and it was exactly what you would expect from the first Cabin Fever, which is just people melting and like having sex, and that's pretty much the movie. It wasn't clever. There was nothing really happening. I don't even know how.
Just sounds like a Saturday night.
I don't know how it could even get a fucking pass to be made, but it was made, and there we go. Some ridiculous shit. There's a scene where this janitor because this one's set in a school for like prom, and there's a scene where this janitor
what's the cabin?
No, Cabin Fever. Have you ever seen those?
I think I get.
It's basically like people drink.
Yeah, I've seen Cabin Fever.
Yeah.
But that's in a cabin. It takes place in a cabin.
Yeah, no, the second one does not. No cabin to be found.
It's literally
it's
just
in a school. Yeah, it's in a school.
The school is it a wooden school?
No, not even adjacent to a cabin at all. There's a scene where this the janitor of the school like is pissed off at the kids, and after he's like contracted the virus that he doesn't know he's contracted, which you don't see him melt, oddly enough. You just know he's contracted the virus. But this girl is like preparing punch for the prom, and he like in his fucking perturbed state decides to piss in the punch bowl, and like he pisses in the punch bowl, and it's like it starts pissing blood, of course.
Like actually,
actually pissing in the punch bowl.
Not metaphorically.
No, actually.
Okay.
And he's pissing blood, and then the rest of the movie. After this, everybody's drinking the punch. Like you wouldn't know.
Was the punch red to begin with?
Yeah, that's fine. The punch was red, so you might like get the punch and maybe take a drink. But everybody's like actively drinking the punch
as if they can't taste the piss.
Yes,
blood.
exactly.
Or the blood piss. I don't know how you want to think about it.
So watch that. I mean, if you're like a fucking bored 13-year-old, I guess
sometimes
it's probably good enough.
Sometimes you just need that real campy,
yeah,
never gonna be good kind of horror movie,
All right, so that was the first really bad thing I watched. Second bad thing I watched was I finally got around to watching the newest Matrix movie.
Yeah.
And that was a fucking egregious piece of shit.
Yeah.
That really shit all over something that I spend a lot of time defending to people that I really actually give a shit about.
A lot of that time was against it was like talking to me.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. And I'm like, so, yeah, the first movie of the Matrix franchise, the first film's the best, sure.
Yep.
But what I like about the Matrix is, overall, the entire story is a very perfect analogy for the world that we live in. Because we do live in a fucking Matrix. We really do. Like, it was good.
Yeah.
Conceptually, it really hit home. It really mattered. I felt like it was a piece of work that mattered. Like, yes, it was dressed up in a bunch of fucking candy coating with stupid action scenes and yada 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 and leather and gunfights, but like there was something at its core. And then this last movie was like the laziest fucking piece of shit I have ever seen. It was just frustrating. I got about 30 minutes.
You only got
in.
one Wachowski, right? Like
yeah.
They did it together, and this one was like
it was
like a
one
solo
of them.
thing.
Yeah.
But it was
don't know which.
They must have had a falling out.
It was bad. It was lazy. They tried to do like this fucking like scream fourth wall thing. Like,
yeah. Which it felt like.
Have you seen this film as well?
I did. I saw because it was one of the ones that it got released like right in the middle of COVID, so it went straight to HBO Max. So it was like,
well, so I haven't seen it. Just so you guys, and I know John already knows, but like in the audience know my take on the Matrix. I think that the best way to absorb that series is to watch the first one and then pretend that the rest of them don't exist.
Well,
I really feel I feel strongly that way.
The interesting thing is you can do both. You can, because the first one you can just like the story's done. You don't need sequels.
The only thing that I say about missing the sequels, you can miss most of those films, but there are good scenes and moments of dialogue in those two films.
Yeah.
Overall, yeah, the films, whatever. You can skip the films in 2 and 3, but like there are good moments in those films that are worth it. Like the conversation with the architect is very good dialogue. Like there's good dialogue to be had.
Animatrix is also worth it.
Yeah, the Animatrix is absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
It stands alone from all this shit anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you could totally just watch the first movie. And again, it's the concept. It's just a really good analogy. It was really well captured immediately, and like they did a really lazy fourth wall bullshit rebrand because it was very much a rebranding of the Matrix 2 in this thing.
Yeah, it felt kind of like whichever Wachowski it was didn't actually want it. I really don't know, but it felt like they didn't want to do it. But if they didn't do it, the studio was going to get a different director to do it.
I feel opposite. I feel like they wanted to do it, but they didn't have any heart in it. I feel like it was just a passing. Like it was a quick money grab in my mind.
Yeah.
By them, because it was very much based on them. Because it was very much like it
took like 15 years.
So first off, as far as I knew, at the end of the Matrix, like the day was won, the dude died, and like that was the end of the story. And like the end of Matrix 3, and then like you come into this movie, and it's like, well, apparently not. Now he's back in the Matrix. Like, fuck, how'd that happen? Oh, they don't tell you. They don't cover that at all. It just happens to be that he's in the Matrix. And in
the Matrix, he's a video game designer.
It's a Matrix version of reincarnation.
Yeah, I guess.
When you die for real, you just go back.
So in the Matrix, he's a video game designer, and he designed this video game binary. And like, so that's where...
And the idea of video games basically like the first Matrix movie.
Yeah. And they just play through the exact same movie. They go through the exact same scenarios. It's just so bad. And I don't want to be the guy to say it, but it just felt like a super aggressive rebranding of this product to be like a trans thing. Because like it was so pushed in the dialogue and content of the movie, and it didn't even make any sense. Because like it stood apart from the other 3 movies, and that they just like, oh well, fuck those movies. Now here's this other thing.
I mean, that does track with the Wachowskis, right? Because it used to be the Wachowski brothers, and now it's the Wachowski sisters.
Yeah. You can see that narrative if you even go back and watch the first one about a person having to break out from what society is telling them to do. And
but that's the same thing, though. It's not the Matrix wasn't about breaking out from what society is telling you to do. The Matrix was about society is bullshit. And it's everything about society, not just relational stuff, not just gender stuff. Everything on the ground basis level is a complete lie. That's what the Matrix was about. And that's why I don't like this rebranding into this thing where it's so like specific, because like it was talking about so much more than that. So I think it's like so annoying and like a waste to reduce it to just that, like just this personal thing, which is very real to the people that it's real to, but like it was this big thing that like everything's a lie, all of society's bullshit, every moment of your life is a fucking lie, and then it got reduced to just like this. And I don't see it in the first movie. I saw the big picture in the first movie, and I heard people tell me like, well, like Mouse or whatever, like the lady in the red dress was like that.
I don't remember
that thing. Yeah, but like the whole thing after the fact, once I heard that they became trans, it was actually all about trans stuff. And this one guy with his obsession with the lady in the red dress was like him being trans, and that never tracked to me. And was like, well, I just thought it was
I mean, that kind of specific stuff you can read into all you want. And I mean, maybe if you listen to the commentaries, the director said that kind of stuff, but like really those kind of little hints and ticks, it's kind of just a mystery.
You can take
what's
you
the
can take what you want.
Wachowski comments? I'm trying to think. Like I've done like a handful of commentaries in my life. The Mel Gibson one with so it I remember.
No, I was mad.
It was raining this day.
I was mad that the thing got reduced to this, and then like the fourth wall shit too was really reductive and annoying because there's a scene in the movie where they're talking about, oh, we need a new game. What was big about the first game? Oh, it was bullet time. We need a new bullet time. Okay. Yeah. Like they're making this scene in the movie that they need a new bullet time, and then they're like aggressively rebranding this movie to fit like a given like political thing happening, social
I felt like
happening.
A lot of that stuff, that dialogue felt like the movie was going like, ooh, look how smart we are. We know what people do with rebrands. Like, but then you're just doing it,
and that's why I hate Scream. But, no,
I haven't seen this. I probably will never watch it. I'm not gonna lie.
Even the action's
but you guys seem to agree.
Yeah, I don't even remember good like visuals.
No, they
for a Matrix movie.
They fast forward all the visuals. They fast forward all the action. Like all of it doesn't fit. It's really lazy. Like the whole thing just didn't make any sense.
Are any of the actors reprising in this?
All of them. Keanu Reeves is in it. The fucking
just the two.
Carrie-Anne Moss is in it.
Yeah. So that's what pissed me off too. Like the opening.
Keanu's the lead.
Yeah. Fishburne's still around?
No, he's not.
No, he's not. But that's what pissed me off. The opening scene is them reliving the opening scene from The Matrix, and the entire time they're reliving the opening scene from The Matrix. I'm like, why couldn't you just get the same chick to do it? Like you're showing us the opening scene of The Matrix.
Yeah.
But you're not showing me this chick. This doesn't make any sense. And so Alicia's over here Googling it, and she's like, oh, well, apparently this chick just really didn't want to be involved with The Matrix and want to spend time with her family. And then like 10 minutes later, she's in the movie. And I'm like, the fuck?
Now, the Lawrence Fishburne one, I think, is... Apparently there is a tie-in video game to the original movies that is like canon, and Lawrence Fishburne's character dies in that video game. And it's something like that, but like the character is kind of in the movie.
Yeah, he is. The character
actor.
Is.
Yeah. I have a beef with Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, he's a weird fucking dude. I can't ever.
You know what my beef is? Is I'm a little bit older than you guys, and I remember watching some of his early films, like Just Cause, kind of like a murder mystery he did with what was it, Sean Connery, I think, back then, or somebody like that.
Right.
Like I remember seeing a bunch of his early movies, and back then he went by Larry Fishburne.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No. Seriously, if you watch his early films, literally the title cards are all Larry Fishburne. Then at some point he was just like, I'm Lawrence now.
Yeah, I can't get behind that. That provides beef to me. Like that's the same as like a guy for 10 years and he comes in the room like, now I'm Snake. No, Ted, you're not Snake. You're fucking Ted. Sorry, buddy, but you can't dress yourself up and just call yourself Snake because you want to be cool. Like, you're still fucking Ted. You got drunk last week and fell over in the fucking pool. Like,
no, it's exactly like that.
Larry Fishburne.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, Matrix movie, complete piece of shit. Shit's on a thing I cared about. Terrible corporate rebranding. Don't watch it. Don't even.
It was also. I was not that super excited for it in the trailers. I've seen the trailers. I was like, why are we getting this? This doesn't look interesting. Well, and then it came out and people were raving about it. They said they loved it.
It doesn't make any sense. The story wrapped up.
Yeah.
They saved the day the motherfucker died. Like,
yeah.
So as I watched this movie, like knowing that was the end, I'm just like, the fuck is this? Like, if you wanted to like keep going with this story, how can you do this? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, Piece of shit.
Of any franchise to do like a reboot with new characters, I feel like that would be the one. And then you just break.
No, and it wasn't even a reboot. It's just like, well, we're just going to tell the exact same story over again with shittier action and shittier performances.
And the villain is not like interesting or threatening at all.
Because it's just fucking Agent Smith again.
but not Hugo Weaving.
Yeah,
like,
but
what
not,
the fuck?
not the best villain ever. Like, that guy's amazing as a villain. No, he's got some random fucking kid off the street. Yeah. Fuck that. Yeah.
Hugo Weaving is amazing as a villain.
No, he is. He's fucking phenomenal.
Like he was wasn't he the lead role in V for Vendetta as well?
Yeah, he's in that. Yeah. He played Megatron in almost all of the Transformers movies,
which is the best spot for there. He was the villain.
Red Skull. He was in the Red Skull in Captain America.
The Cloud Atlas. He was the bad.
Bad
guy in Cloud
Atlas.
Yeah. All right, so those are the bad movies I watched. Good movies I watched. I watched a French adult animated movie the other day. I Lost My Body. Super fucking interesting movie. Super good movie.
Where'd they lose it?
So the bit is, the movie's premise is basically a young dude's, like, it's a tale of him overcoming his past and, like, beating fate, essentially. But it's told in a way. The movie starts with this severed hand that escapes from, like, a medical lab that is just, autonomous and moves around and can see and all this shit. And then it plays back into this kid's past and history, and it ends up leading up to where he gets his hand cut off. So it's his hand, and it's just a really fun, interesting movie because it's the kid's hand.
I identify to the thought.
Yeah.
I have a history of. You guys ever hear of sleep paralysis?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the most terrifying thing ever, and it happens to me like once every 2 years.
Yeah.
When I was younger, it used to happen like once a month. It was like, but it's just like this. It's like this thing where like you, it's like you're sleeping and you wake up, and like your mind is awake, but your body isn't.
Yeah.
And so like, whatever position you're in, it's always the worst fucking position.
Right.
It's like face down on your pillow,
right?
And like
you're
just like suffocating into your pillow,
yeah.
And you have these thoughts that come into your mind, like muster all your strength and just pull back with all your weight, and you might be able to move a millimeter to where you're not suffocating in your own pillow,
and you can't.
And it's a very common thing for people to see a figure at the foot of their bed or something, or in the doorway,
right?
And hallucinating this image, and they cannot move their body at all.
Yeah.
I never had any hallucinations. Yeah. I've had some. I don't know. I've had some terrifying ones. I don't want to make it like a fucking sleep science podcast.
yeah.
It's terrifying. It's fucking terrifying.
I can imagine.
But no, this movie is super fun because a lot of the situations the hand gets into are hilarious and just super engaging. He gets out of the lab and then ends up falling into a fucking gutter on a roof, and then he's just kind of stuck there, and he winds up landing on a pigeon's nest, and then the pigeon comes in the morning and is sees that it broke an egg, so it starts pecking at him and tries to throw him out of the gutter, and then he snatches up the pigeon by the throat, and there's a struggle with the pigeon, and he ends up breaking the pigeon's neck. Then he falls again. He ends up winding up in a subway, and he's fighting fucking rats, and he randomly finds a lighter. But anyway, it's a really endearing story about this kid just kind of overcoming a past trauma where his parents died, and it's kind of a thing that he almost triggered. You could argue maybe he caused the accident that caused his parents to die, but just him overcoming all this shit in the hand, just kind of it being, symbolic of that. Really well animated, really well written, very poetic, super good film.
Yeah. Where'd you watch it?
Netflix.
Oh, that's right. I think it was a Netflix.
It was on Netflix.
That was nominated for Best Animated Feature.
Yeah, no, it was very, very good. Next movie I just watched the other night, Moon Garden, I think.
Moon Garden.
It was made for TV somewhere because there were commercial breaks. I found it on Shudder. But yeah, commercial breaks mean only one thing. so I don't know where it was aired first, but basically about a family, mom, dad, daughter, and mom and dad have a fucking terrible relationship. Dad's a writer, mom's stay-at-home mom, I think. So there's the fucking, the conflict between those roles in this scenario. And daughter has to hear about it all the time. Daughter's like 8 years old. And then during a fight with mom and dad, she just kind of calls them the fuck out, tells them to shut the fuck up, basically, and then runs away. But steps on a roller skate, falls downstairs, gets put into a coma. Excuse me. So the whole movie is this little girl in a coma, trying to follow her mom and dad's voices to get out of the coma. And of course, there's a sinister villain inside the coma, which was really well done. A lot of the stuff in this super industrial, just dirty, gritty ass world that she winds up in this coma. Really well designed. A lot of it's stop motion stuff. The villain is this faceless dude in a heavy overcoat with a conductor's hat kind of. With these chittering creepy teeth that's just an empty face that's always coming after this little kid.
Spooky.
No, it's really well done. And honestly, for a little kid acting, I mean, she does a great fucking job. Great job performing through all this. Ends up getting out of the coma, saving the day, hopefully reuniting the family. Perfect ending, not convoluted. She resolves the coma shit and wakes up. You get a close-up of her eye. Film's done. But yeah, all in all, just a really interesting, really well done, refreshing kind of thing. Super good movie. And then the other thing that I watched, which was pretty fun, was as I always see these fucking sword and sorcery old sci-fi movies on my Facebook feed, and one that I kept seeing forever was Split Second with Rutger Hauer, and I was talking to one of my clients about it the other day, and he talked about it a little bit, so I finally pulled the trigger on watching it, and it was pretty fucking fun. It was pretty entertaining. Fucking
Rutger Hauer.
Rutger Hauer, yeah, in about probably his prime, I guess. But it's this
prime Rutger Hauer.
Yeah, I guess. Set in this futuristic dystopian London where global warming has made everything flood, and he's this tortured cop where his partner died, and he saw the killer but nobody could find the killer, yada yada yada. The killer ends up being a demon that only he can see, until later his partner ends up being able to see it. But all in all, pretty fucking fun movie. A lot of British actors that you recognize here or there. He plays just the biggest fucking asshole, the dirtiest, just grungiest motherfucker. There's a scene where he's after something, he's in the police shower, brushing his teeth, fucking rinses his mouth out with his coffee, immediately lights up a cigarette, puts his fucking cigarette in his coffee, dumps the shit on the floor. It's Jesus. Yeah, just the dirt baggiest
this guy doesn't give a fuck.
No, he embodies the not give a fuck for sure.
Rutger Hauer, man, such a fucking.
Kim Cattrall's in it too, and she plays a very.
I'm out.
No, she's only there for a couple of scenes, and it's the only time I've ever seen a nude scene with her, which we watched on YouTube, so you couldn't see anything. But it's super inexplicable, because she it's nothing but him being a dirtbag looking for this demon killer, and then she just shows up, and he's just oh, I'm so soft, and I care about you so much. It's what?
We can be together.
Why do you care about her, and why the fuck does she care about you? You're the dirtiest motherfucker in the world. But yeah, so it was a fun just old 80s or 90s, early 90s sci-fi watch. Not bad.
I might have to watch this one.
Yeah. No, it was the monster
this
was
might be
pretty
a good
cool.
Friday night movie.
Yeah, no, it was a fun watch. It was a fun watch. He gets partnered up with this the specialist for serial killers and crime analysts, this mousy British dude, and he's just the biggest fucking dick. The first time they go to a scene, they drive in separate cars and they park, and he gets out, and the dude opens his door to come out, and he just turns around and just fucking kicks the fucking door closed, stay fucking here. No, it was fun.
Yeah.
So those are the highlights of what I watched.
Damn.
All right, I got a few things. First, I feel like you guys brought up Cloud Atlas, so I feel like we should start with Cloud Atlas, the Bob Dylan version. That
Yeah. Yeah. No, we did watch that.
I'm not there.
Yeah.
Which features basically a whole bunch of
Whole
actors
bunch
that
of
are
motherfuckers.
very well beloved, all playing in some fashion Bob Dylan.
It stars Christian Bale, Heath Ledger, Kate Blanchett, Marcus Carl Franklin, Richard Gere, and Ben Whishaw, all as different versions of Bob Dylan.
Yeah, and you really see the acting chops of Kate Blanchett.
Yeah,
I'm
she
pretty
does
sure she's the best Bob Dylan.
She is,
of all of
absolutely.
them.
She's
For sure.
fantastic.
Yeah, she nails
She's
the Bob
just a
Dylan
great
performance.
actress.
Honestly, everyone in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
So this is one.
God, I miss Heath Ledger.
This is one of the pinnacle films of the podcast, I think, because we've been trying to watch this movie
Yeah.
together for a
Yeah.
year.
I
For sure.
think the only reason this wasn't the first episode of the podcast is because I mentioned it after we had decided to watch everything everywhere.
Yeah, which was the perfect first episode anyway,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
was perfect. But
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm glad we finally.
no, it was
Finally did it.
interesting, man. It was something else.
So I went back and this isn't probably as notable, but I saw this movie in the theater when it came out, and I think it was '94. The Flintstones.
Oh.
The live action Flintstones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we brought up Rick Moranis earlier.
I
Probably,
forgot he was in there.
yeah, dude. He's the Perfect Barney Rubble. He really
I
is.
love Rick Moranis, man.
This movie's really bad though.
Yeah, of
Like,
course, of course it is.
It's like
We all know.
if you like the cartoon and you watch the cartoon as a kid, you definitely get some you get some nostalgic things from the movie, but for the most part, not a good film. Not it's a little too clever.
Too clever?
Too clever.
They try to be too clever.
Okay, they try to be too clever. I'm
It's like
they
Dude,
succeeded.
this
in
movie's
being
too
too
smart
clever?
for me, man.
They cast Halle Berry as the sexy secretary, and her name in the film was Sharon Stone. It's a little too clever.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like
Yeah.
not even a joke. I don't know.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just
What?
you're trying too hard at this.
And it's directed by Oliver Stone.
So these last three, I've only got 5 things really.
You know
outside of the
sorry.
features. Yeah,
You know who would play Fred if they remade this? Would probably be Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh, God.
that would be the
No.
take they would go with it. They turned you like an action movie.
I feel like they just recast it the same.
Right.
You have to recast Barney because apparently he's not acting anymore. Rick Moranis. You have to recast Barney. It'd be an impossible reboot.
Who was Goodman? Fred?
Yeah. John
I
Goodman.
mean,
He was a perfect friend.
Yeah, you can't you can't get another young John Goodman, so that's just
Yeah.
that's out the window. You can't
John
make this movie
Goodman,
again.
man.
He's
I love-
fucking good,
John Goodman's
man.
fantastic.
He
John
is
Goodman,
fucking
John Goodman is
fantastic, dude.
fantastic. He gave Roseanne Barr a fucking career. like Roseanne Barr owns everything, or Arnold, or whatever the fuck she wants to be called now.
Are the Olsons in this too?
The Olsen? No.
Who's the little girl? Probably nobody.
I don't know. Just some
It looks like
Yeah.
the Olsons.
Bam Bam
on
is
it.
some blonde-headed child. He just says Bam Bam. It's
Right.
they don't have that many lines. So these other movies I watch, all 3 of these are actually really good movies. So
Okay.
I'm gonna start with Nicolas Cage movie Pig.
Oh, you finally watched it?
I finally watched
I
Pig.
fucking love that film. I think it's
the-
his best movie he's ever made.
You think it's the best movie he's ever made?
I think so.
Maybe. I mean, it
I
was
think
really
so.
good. It was
pretty
really good.
Pretty good.
Movie about a truffle hunter who gets his truffle pig stolen.
Yeah.
And-
Well, former super high end world renowned
as
chef.
you come to find out,
Yeah.
those are some of the most awkward scenes. They go into some of the most famous restaurants in the world,
Right.
and it's the dude he smells like pig shit.
Oh, yeah.
He has
Yeah.
he's got he gets his ass kicked basically throughout the entire movie, but right off the bat he gets his ass kicked and basically comes out of it covered completely covered in his own blood.
Yeah.
that never gets better.
No.
You know, like it's not like it's like you get your ass kicked. It's not like he took a shower and it's like, well, I'm gonna go seek revenge. Like he never takes a shower. And then like a lot of the scenes are in these like high end restaurants, and it's just like they wouldn't even have let him through the door.
One where the dialogue in the one scene that he's talking to somebody that I think he fired. Like the dialogue in that scene, that was so good.
No,
it was good.
It was really well done for the most part.
And you
for a guy who's just like talk about like hit or miss. Like Nicolas Cage has been all over the fucking map.
No, so around that time, the movies that he did around that movie are what convinced me that he doesn't read scripts. That like somebody just like, I'll be there. And then he just rolls with it. Like
I think he
I
has
don't give
said
a fuck what this is.
He's made a lot of choices because he's got a lot of debt.
Yeah.
He needs the money.
Yeah.
But I love it when he can like manage to actually get out some good stuff.
No, that was my favorite movie that I've seen him in for quite a bit. Was that?
Yeah, really good film. Molly and I both enjoyed it.
What I really loved about it is like there's this intensity that's present that you just like. Especially because, like, of all the shit that he's been doing around this film, the other films, like, you're waiting for him to, like, go fucking crazy and start murdering everybody.
Yeah.
And, like, that never happens.
Oh.
It just ends, and he's just sad, and he just fucking cries, and it's like...
I'm gonna tell a short little story here. And there are going to be spoilers about the film Pig.
Yeah.
And so if you haven't seen the film Pig, you should watch the film Pig, and you should probably fast forward like 30 seconds because I'm about to give some major spoilers. So Molly and I sit down to watch Pig, and we're like 5-10 minutes into the movie, and Molly is like, "Oh," she's like, "I swear to fucking God, if that pig dies, fuck this movie." And she's like, "If that pig dies, I swear to God, fuck this movie. And I've wasted my time tonight watching." And sure enough, the fucking pig dies. And she like looks like the like death glare immediately, like right at me, like, God damn it, I wasted my fucking time. I knew the goddamn pig was gonna die. I knew it right away. So yeah, there is that.
The pig dies.
Yeah, spoilers.
Pig dies. I mean, pretty. Is it pretty early?
Well, you don't know that it's dead.
It's like you don't find out till like,
it gets snatched
movie.
by meth heads, and then he finds out.
They don't know how to take care of a pig.
He finds out after this. Yeah, and it's like so stupid. Like this. What would you expect if you hire a couple meth heads to fucking steal a pig? Like you expect him to keep it alive?
Yeah,
he goes through this whole odyssey.
They were taking turns riding it. Broke its back. It was squealing all crazy. They didn't know what to do, so they suffocated it with a pillow. You know.
But yeah, no, I definitely think that's one of his best films, period.
So, also I watched the movie Bottoms, which Reese has been a huge proponent of here. God damn, it's the most fucking ridiculous movie I've ever seen before in my life. So, Bottoms is, oh God. This is a ridiculous film. John, I think you would enjoy this one a lot, actually.
Okay.
If you like, have you seen Heathers?
Yeah.
I think Heathers is the closest.
Okay.
So basically, it's kind of a.
Yeah, Heathers is good.
It's about two high school best friends that are lesbians and both virgins, and they want to change that. So it's like, classic teen comedy setup to where teen wants to lose their virginity. But they don't just want to lose their virginity. They want to fuck hot chicks, specifically cheerleaders. And so they decide to start a fight club because somehow in their twisted ass minds, they think that starting a fight club is going to make them able to fuck cheerleaders, and somehow it works.
Like an actual fight club.
No, it's an actual fight club.
Okay.
It's like literally these women meet in the gymnasium and like take turns punching each other in the face until they are bloody.
They tell the principal it's supposed to be a self-defense thing, but then their idea of a self-defense club is just like literally fighting, like beating the shit out of each other.
Okay.
And so so this movie is literally a bunch of women beating the shit out of each other and then trying to get horny with each other, and like it's I don't know. It's a fucking gem, man.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It is.
The movie has like no business being as hilarious as what it was.
Yeah.
I think I liked it quite a bit more than Molly did. To be honest,
I think I don't like to give spoilers, but the reason I like compare it to Heather's is because it's there's no amount of like realism to the movie. Like people literally get killed.
Yeah.
And it's a high school comedy.
it's just randomly like
Right.
like it's like I don't know. It's like there's this huge like fight sequence at the end that's at like a football game, and I don't know, like one of the mascots is like I don't know, like the Spartans or something, and there's like some dude that has like a sword or whatever,
Right.
and then like so there's this like huge like brawl going on, and all of a sudden like somebody steals a sword and just like starts like running people through. It's just like oh okay, we just escalated,
And nothing comes about it, right?
Right.
No, literally,
no one goes to prison or
repercussions.
anything.
No,
Full on like fucking.
and like there's
murder.
been no murder up until this point, but it's
Yeah.
just like we've reached the climax, and now we're gonna start killing
Yeah.
motherfuckers.
So like I like to have people go into it with the right mindset of like what to expect, because if you're not necessarily expecting like literally a goofy cartoonish comedy,
Right.
then you're going to be thrown off and be like,
Right.
wait, what?
Yeah,
You know, so
what
I
is
just
this?
like I
Right
like
on.
people to be on the level and know what they're getting into because it's hilarious.
Oh no, it's a really funny movie, and I read I kind of like looked it up before and then after, and like I was reading some reviews, and funniest review I heard about this movie was that I don't remember what their names are, the two actresses that play the two leads.
Iowa Debris is the one that's from
Right.
The
But
Bear.
basically the review the sentiment of the review was that the two ladies from this film, they could have played Brad Pitt and what's it?
Edward
George
Norton.
Clooney.
Edward Norton. They could have.
Ed Norton. Yes.
they could have played the Fight Club
Yeah.
people. Edward Norton
Yeah.
and Brad Pitt could not do bottoms.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh my god! And the football player, Marshawn Lynch.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So Marshawn Lynch is one of the most entertaining persons
He
ever to
is
play
so
professional
fucking
football. And he plays a teacher in it, and he's just a really fucking cool dude. And
That's fun.
it's great. It's a great role for him. Which he's kind of just getting into the whole acting scene, but early on, I think he's done a good job in everything he's been cast in. I know he was in Westworld for one season.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I need to finish that.
Yeah, he's been pretty good. So the last thing I actually watched last night. It's been on my rewatch list for a long time. It's the movie The Prestige.
I've been wanting to watch that for a long time.
So I saw it when it first came out, which I want to say I looked it up and it was like 16 years ago or something like that. At least like 2007. I don't know. It was bordering on 20 years. So
I think it would have been 2006 because Dark Knight was 2008.
yeah. But anyway, it's a Christopher Nolan movie starring I didn't write this shit down.
Christian Bale
Hugh
and
Jackman
Hugh
and Christian
Jackman.
Bale as magicians, and they're kind of like in a little bit of I guess you would say a duel, or like no, they got beef.
Yeah, beef.
They're just competitors. They're trying to be the best magician.
Well, yeah, but also it's like one of them kind of murdered the other's wife, but not really, and then the other one, to like get back, kind of like fucked up that person's life, and it's literally just two magicians like going back and forth trying to see who can ruin the other's life. Like it's the ultimate rival film.
Yeah.
And like Molly, as we were watching this movie, was like, God damn, they took their magic real seriously back in the day.
Yeah.
It was a little over the top of how crazy it goes. And then it actually kind of ends up turning into an actual science fiction film by the end of it.
Almost like science fiction, like thriller. It's a thriller pretty much throughout.
It's honestly So I remember when this movie came back. It's like I've had the conversation before where there's this thing where studios do where it's like Pixar said that they were gonna like announce that they were bringing out A Bug's Life, and like fucking what was it, like DreamWorks starts making Ants.
Ants, yeah.
And Ants, which started after, somehow came out before.
Yeah.
And it's like this arms race.
Yeah.
Well, when The Prestige came out, it was literally like, I want to say like the week after another movie came out that was similar, and it was starring Edward Norton. It was called The Illusionist, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember that, and it was just like, it was the same kind of thing, and it was like one movie was good and one movie wasn't.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember in my mind which one was good and which one wasn't.
Right.
It's not The Illusionist.
It's not The Illusionist, it's The Prestige. The Prestige is actually really good.
Nice.
Good film. Some pretty good analogies on life in there also.
Yeah.
And like identity theory and stuff.
Oh yeah. And like there's this one really cool scene where it's one of the few times where the two actors together are like friends. They go to see another magician because somebody tells them that like Michael Caine's in the movie randomly, and he's just like, "You guys go watch this guy do this. Go watch this old Japanese guy do this magic trick, and like tell me how he does it." And like basically, he's just like, it's like the greatest trick I've ever seen. So they go watch this old Japanese guy like do this trick. And then afterwards, they're trying to figure out how he does it. And it's just like, well, if you held it between your legs, it's like, yeah, but it was completely filled with water. Like, you need so much leg strength. This is this frail old man. And it comes to light, like, Christian Bale's character is just like, that's the trick. His entire life is a performance. His, like him being the frail old man in his, like, personal life is the performance. This dude's actually strong as an ox. Right. He just pretends to be this frail old man all the time so that, like, people would never believe he could do these, like,
right,
that's the whole thing. And so that ends up being kind of like a metaphor for the film is like the whole like live it, like your life being the performance, so that the trick is just natural.
Really great cast.
Great cast.
Scarlett Johansson,
really
Rebecca
good acting.
Hall.
And that's to me, like, I'm a little bit of a Hugh Jackman hater.
Yeah.
And that I just don't think that he's like that good at acting. But he pulled his own here. Like,
I think he's solid. And like he's done a lot of both.
So bad.
No, yeah, but he's done a lot of bad shit though. Like of course he's bad in bad shit, but he can do good.
Have you seen Prisoners?
Yes.
That movie's fucking fantastic.
That movie's
amazing.
I think my problem with Hugh Jackman is that he cannot carry a movie. He has never carried a movie. He never can.
That might be true.
He needs another person with him, and also
that's fair enough.
He needs a strong directorial presence, because if you just get some like fucking swashbuckler up there, like some pirate off the fucking Eastern Sea or whatever, like right off the boat, and you're gonna like let him direct a movie there, like. I don't think he's your best. You're not gonna get the best performance out of him.
You can definitely. You've seen he's had a bunch of weak performances for sure, and he's done a bunch of not great stuff. But
I walked in and Ghost was watching some sci-fi movie.
I respect the guy enough.
Yeah.
I walked into the shop here and Ghost was watching some like sci-fi movie with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
And, like I sat down and was talking to Ghost a little bit.
Oh, I bet that was Transcendence.
Dude, I had to get out. Yeah. I had to get out. It was so bad. Like just the shit coming out of his mouth was so unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this movie's fucking terrible.
Well, I mean that's partially writing too. I mean.
Yeah, I suppose.
Because again, like The Village, like was like the most stacked cast you could ever have, and like they couldn't deliver the fucking drivel that they were supposed to deliver.
That's fair.
Writing,
but like
is
this
a very
Hugh Jackman,
real thing.
he did like the Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie
that thing was fucking terrible.
That movie was bad. Yeah, it's not called Transcendence. It's called Reminiscence.
Reminiscence. One of the essence.
Now I've seen exactly enough of him. Like I know that he can be good, but he just does a lot of bad shit. It's mostly bad. It is definitely.
I mean, I think he's pretty great as Wolverine. When those movies are good, they're good.
No, he's good at that.
That's like half his career.
Prisoners with Gyllenhaal.
Prisoners is fantastic.
Is really good.
Have you seen Prisoners?
I've seen Prisoners.
Yeah,
I saw it at the theater.
It's solid.
Fantastic.
It's okay.
It's really good. I need to rewatch The Prestige. And also,
it was one that is like I sorely needed. Like I actually didn't remember very much about the movie at all.
Yeah.
Of course, as I'm watching it, it's all like coming back to me. But
Yeah.
The Prestige also has one of my all-time favorite castings for a historical figure, with David Bowie playing Nikola Tesla. I think.
Oh, that's interesting.
I wish they could have gotten that into a full-length film. That would have been pretty incredible.
Also, Scarlett Johansson. It's one of her early films as well. She's just always good.
She doesn't miss very often.
She's just like she never disappoints.
Yeah.
She's the anti Hugh Jackman. Like, like you can.
So I still have to watch the fucking Ghost in the Shell.
Maybe that'll be my.
You know what?
The
movie's probably a piece of shit. You're gonna think it's a piece of shit especially because you're.
Yeah.
But you know what? I bet you she's good.
I'm super intrigued. If it weren't for the fact that she's playing a decidedly Japanese person,
we got to do that Ghost in the Shell Old Boy double feature.
Oh, we do. God, I don't even want to think about that.
All right. Well, speaking of double features,
we have arrived.
Welcome to the new normal.
We have arrived at the feature, and it's double.
It's double,
which means there's two.
Doubled up, yeah.
That's what double means. It's like the duo.
Well, that's not necessarily true. Double means there is double. I mean, it could be 4 could be double of 2. 8 could be double of 4.
Are you done wasting our time? Or can we proceed with the feature?
You're leading people astray. Double does not mean 2.
Okay.
Technically. I mean, when you start out with 1, it does actually. It's fine.
All right.
Multiplication.
Now who's wasting the time?
You wouldn't understand.
All right, here we go.
John, tell us about heavy metal.
Heavy metal is something that I knew I was going to have to pick eventually. It's a very, very important movie to me, just artistically, really, and like it kind of honestly defined. I don't know if it defined, but it's like the perfect capturing of what defined me as a person.
Yeah. Early
on, like sci-fi, horror, drama, like the over-the-top nature of the film, the music, the crazy art stylings, the fucking vulgarity, the explicitity, like really everything that I like is encapsulated in this movie, essentially. And so I knew it was a thing that I was going to have to pick eventually. I watched it when I was a kid. Of course, as a kid, born in the 80s, I watched it well before I should have actually watched it.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this movie when I was like 10 years old probably, and it's like...
Your parents saw it was a cartoon and were like, well, it must be fun.
No, it's just... My mom wasn't paying attention, my dad didn't give no fuck. And I credit him for that, because, hey, I wouldn't be the person I am without watching this kind of shit when I was 10 years old,
Yeah.
I actually wanted to show it to my oldest son the other, not that long ago, and I watched it and I'm like, fuck. Not quite. I can't do this in good conscience as a parent. Let him see all this jazz. I mean, like, he'll fucking love it, and when he's 16, I'll watch it with him, but like, I can't quite watch it with my 13-year-old son yet. Different times. People be all weird about it.
Pretty sure I was 11 when I watched it.
Yeah, no, I just told Reese I was 10. And it is...
Sorry, I stepped out of the room for a second, so if I start repeating dialogue...
It was well before I should have, but yeah, no, it's a movie that just means a lot to me. Like, it inspired me artistically. It is just everything I enjoy in a nutshell, really. Horror, sci-fi, drama, comedy, like just everything.
Animation.
And, it's fucking awesome. It's a thing that I don't know how many people really have watched this movie. I don't know how.
I think it's kind of like a cult classic. It's definitely.
It is, I don't know how many younger people would ever come across this movie.
I don't know. Did you do the thing like?
Oh yeah,
it is.
It's not available to stream anywhere.
Yeah, it's only available to purchase, and it's all. Hey, it's $8 on Amazon right now.
Is it really?
The digital. I don't know if that it'll.
I looked the other day and it was like $17 everywhere.
I don't know if that ports over to Vudu though. Yeah, it's not streaming on any services, but it's available to buy on all the normal places: YouTube, Vudu, Amazon.
So something I've learned because I actually have a Prime account.
Yeah.
So it doesn't port over to your Vudu, but your Vudu ports over to Prime.
All of it?
All of it.
You sure?
I am sure.
Because I thought the connection, how your Vudu purchases port to your Amazon and vice versa is through Movies Anywhere, and so it's only Movies Anywhere eligible titles.
Maybe. I don't know. I guess I've just noticed that I go. It's like.
I mean, you might be right. I don't know.
The Prime, it's just everything's there.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Which is a shocking feature that
but you
major
might be right.
companies.
It's because I have them linked to
Yeah.
Movies Anywhere. So I guess if something's not eligible for that, then it might not port them over. But I haven't looked at that.
Yeah, and I do know Amazon actually has a bigger movie library than Vudu, but I just prefer the Vudu system and everything. So it's available to buy.
The one thing is though, if you ever if there's ever a movie that's only available through Amazon Prime, and you add it, and then somewhere on down the line, it's now available on Vudu.
Right.
Yeah.
You could potentially buy the same thing twice.
Actually, that's why I watched Split Second on YouTube because I don't have Amazon Prime and I couldn't just rent it on Amazon. I'm like, fuck you guys. Anywho,
the premise on Letterboxd says the embodiment of ultimate evil, a glowing orb terrorizes a young girl with bizarre stories of dark fantasy, eroticism, and horror.
Eroticism.
The tagline is
what's the tagline?
A step beyond science fiction.
That's terrible.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
I mean, how would you give a tagline to an anthology movie anyway?
Yeah, that covers because this movie is it's science fiction. It's horror.
It's a step beyond.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's actually pretty all right because this movie, it's sci-fi, it's horror, it's high fantasy, it's a lot of things all at once. I don't know how many younger people might look at this movie and want to watch it. They'd probably look at the dated, fucking band, the soundtrack they've never heard of, and the subpar, not CGI. Gilded animation.
Every time I hear the Fleetwood Mac song in it, though, I'm like, damn, how'd they pull that off?
Yeah. No, it's a movie is essentially about power and the corruption and contamination of power to people and the search for power and what power does. And the story is basically overcoming the evil of power. In the character that the orb speaks to, trying to shut this little girl down because he's the last race that could defeat him, and the last story of all the stories is a descendant of hers defeating said evil, and then she becoming the next generation of defense against said evil.
Yeah.
But it's all these things. It's a lot of classic versions of all these things. It's very classic high sci-fi, classic high fantasy, classic horror. Just a fucking ride, man. Just a lot of fun. The animation is not quite like anything you're gonna see. There's things that are similar from the time period.
I would just like to point out here, I'm of the three of us, I think we can all agree, I'm the least into the whole animation deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of the movies we've covered so far, I enjoyed the actual physical animation in this film more than any other animated film that we've watched.
Yeah.
Because there are boobs.
Well, no. That does help. There were no boobs in the Iron Giant. It was just the style, how it seemed more manual. You can tell.
Oh, and it absolutely is.
I go back to when I was a kid, I remember, and they were explaining, my art teacher was explaining animation to me, and they said it takes it was some ridiculous figure. It's 270 page, drawings to make a character say the word "is."
You can see it in this. You
can see it. You can see that there are millions
every
of drawings
fucking page turn.
Yeah.
And what's great about it is that in those page turnings, you see all the like super detailed background shit. Like the first story, I think it's the first story, is the cabbie.
Yeah,
the
that's
cabbie
the first one.
story. Yeah, so the first story is about cabbie.
Very much honestly, John, when we were watching this first bit, the first story, I was like, I'm shocked you didn't pair this movie with Fifth Element.
Yeah, no, yeah. The cabbie in this first story is absolutely like the grittier version of fucking Bruce Willis's character from the Fifth Element for sure. Not as handsome or charming at all. This guy's pretty grungy.
Yeah, but he's just like melting people in his back seat though.
For sure. But the art style in there, like, man, what I love about that one, and what I love about a lot of it, some of them are a little bit cleaner than others, but that story specifically, it's fucking grimy.
Yeah, no,
all the animation is as grimy as you could fucking imagine. The characters are grimy, the animation's grimy, everything's just fucking grimy. And
honestly, I love it. All the animation.
Did we cover the boobs? Did we bring that up?
Oh yeah, so shit ton of boobs. Everybody, that's what's funny. Like you asked me the hint, like my hint, it's known for boobs. Like, well, I don't know what that could be. And then I tell you, like, was it really known for boobs? And like the first fucking scene, like, oh yeah.
So here's the bit. So we had all seen this going into it, but unlike my my co-host here, it'd been like over 20 years since I'd seen it. I think it's actually, I did the math. I think it was actually like 29 years. It's almost 30 years since I'd seen this movie the first time. And so this is the first rewatch ever. And when John told me that this is what he was doing, he's like, I want to show people this. Most people think it's just boobs. I want to show people it's more. And it'd been so long since I saw it. I was like, were there a lot of boobs in that movie? Yeah. He's like, fuck, dude, come on.
There was a full South Park episode about how many boobs were in the movie.
After the rewatch, to my surprise, I didn't remember the movie as well as I thought. There are, in fact, a lot of boobs.
No, I mean, it's
having watched it as like a 12/13-year-old somewhere in there the first time. I'm surprised.
Yeah, it didn't strike you that way. Yeah, I know.
It's like, this is my favorite movie ever.
I already have hidden porn at home. This is nothing.
So yeah, it spawned from Heavy Metal Magazine, which was just a bunch of like crazy adult, pseudo illicit fucking crazy sci-fi horror animation. But the story is interesting. The pacing is really good. It's anthology. It's about all these different iterations of this evil being evil and people trying to use this evil. But man, it's just such a fucking... There's everything in this movie that you could want. There's a lot of just funny shit, a lot of hilarity. You go from the cabbie who tries to help this seemingly helpless dame recover her father's relic that he found. That it ends up at the end that she's gonna fuck this dude over, so then she gets melted in his cab, which apparently in whatever future world this has, the cabs just have a fucking button that just melts people in the back seat. So goddamn, be careful. I'm gonna tip this guy.
And there's no consequences.
No consequence. No, I mean, who gives a fuck?
Which, I mean, yeah, it's like...
So that's one great thing about that story is he goes to the police. Like, this guy, like...
Cab drivers are historically grimy people.
Yeah, but dude, this guy's actually not, like, the dirtiest of guy. Like, he gets this chick, winds up in his cab, you know, super hot chick and everything, and she passes out. You know, grimy as this guy is, like... You could think of a million things a grimy guy like this would do to a fucking pretty chick passed out in his cab. No, he goes to the cops. And the cops are like, well, let's do something about it. You're going to fucking pay us. Yeah. So he tried. You know? What else is he going to do? Take her home. And that's when she puts the moves on him. You know?
Yeah,
they do.
I like the animation in that cab one the most. It's the most unique. They're all great. I love all the animation styles.
No, they get simpler, but that one is very iconic.
The others I actually really love the scenes between the girl and the orb.
Yeah.
Like
her facial expression.
It has a very like old school early creep show movies and I don't know, the whole thing just has a very like sci-fi version of Tales from the Crypt.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like,
yeah.
it's It's like Tales from the Creepy Space Orb.
Yeah, yeah.
Tales from the Orb.
Yeah. And then you get into some stories of like this little nerd kid finding the orb out in his yard and doing a science experiment and transporting him to some far off place, and he gets turned into some big fucking hunk of a dude that ends up saving some princess from these fucking ritual cult leaders, and
just going on like the most quintessential like teenage boy fantasy adventure.
The quintessential,
be, for
sure.
Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, for sure. This dude's this mouse.
Fuck all the women.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, what's he say? 18 years or nothing, and now twice in one day.
Voiced by John Candy, which is fucking great.
John Candy voices quite
a bunch of shit.
Characters in this.
No, there's so much happening in this movie that it's hard to just describe in an instance. So it's all about evil and power and the evil of power, and good guys do win at the end. But it's a hell of a ride along the way. You get to see some fucking aliens snorting some fucking space coke. You get to see some fucking
that's a good
zombie scene. World War II fighter pilots. You get to see just all kinds of shit, man. It
was a movie that was ahead of its time.
Yeah, it's fun because it's got like the animation is all manual animation, but it gets into I think there's some amount of the fuck is that called, like rotoscoping? Rotoscoping, which was the thing that Ralph Bakshi did a lot. And if you want some movies from around this era that kind of have a similar vibe and are interesting, Wizards is a very it's a crazy fucking movie, honestly. Have you ever watched Wizards?
I have seen, yeah.
I've got it on
Wizards
my list.
is super weird. Like, it's weird. Wizards, and then Fire and Ice, and Cool World, I think, uses similar animation.
Mm-hmm.
Ralph Bakshi just had a thing for that shit. But, yeah, no, it's a fucking gem,
He also
man.
did the animated Lord of the Rings, too.
Yeah. If it's something that you haven't seen, and you're not, fucking we see some sleep paralysis.
Wow, we missed that
from Matt here.
Yeah.
We missed that. We moved on.
I missed your comments, sir, Matt. Yeah, it's fucking terrifying.
But yeah, if you want to see some adult animation, it's one of the best, most classic examples of it. It's totally worth a watch. It's fun. Don't watch with your kids.
No.
It's not the 80s anymore, so you can't do that. Kids turn out fine. I'm fine if they do watch these.
Yeah, it's
movies,
not like a tragedy.
Yeah, no,
if a kid watches this, but not going to feel like a great parent.
I got my aunt to rent it for me. Like I go stay with my aunts, and I had a buddy over. I'll never forget this. And it's just like Aunt Pam, we're renting this movie. Okay, there aren't boobs in it, are there? Nope.
no boobs to be found.
Little did they know, there were definitely boobs in it.
There were boobs, but they were cartoon boobs, so they don't count.
Yeah. It is pretty explicit. I mean, it's explicit enough for sure. It's about as explicit as it can.
Yeah, and let's throw it out there. It's not just boobs. There's a lot of nipples.
I mean, it's everything.
Very pointy nipples.
Yeah, it's full bore. It's everything. There's full bore sex scenes. There's full bore nudity. There's also a shit ton of super violent murder.
Every woman in this feature has very pointy nipples.
They do. There is no there's no exploitation or anything though. Like in the cabbie story, like she was trying to exploit the cabbie. Really. Yeah. Like
it's all ethical nudity.
Yeah, for sure. Even the coke aliens. So the coke aliens, these dudes show up and suck out a robot, what you find out to be a robot congressman, and happens to be a non-robot secretary out of, I think, the Pentagon, into this spaceship, and then take off across the universe. Robot guy gets disassembled. Chick loses her clothes in the exchange, of course. But she ends up...
Which, by the way, the one memory I had from this movie, I had one line that was ingrained in my mind.
Yeah. And
it was John Candy saying, "Somebody help me put this asshole back together."
Yeah. But even in that story, like, it's basically like I mean, it's goofy, but it's kind of a romance. Like, she decides this robot dude with fucking like big clown ears puts the moves on this hot chick, and they do the deed, and afterwards, like, she's across the galaxy, and she's like, well, fuck, I guess we're gonna have to get married. He's like, okay. So even in that exchange, like, this chick just gets to start a new life across the galaxy with a new robot husband.
Oh man.
But yeah, so watch it if you haven't. It's worth it. It's worth a watch for sure.
Absolutely.
So, and that leads to the.
It was. I just want to say in closing on Heavy Metal. I really, really enjoyed this film. You know, like, and I think that's notable for me to have enjoyed it as much as I did.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's if you like any of those things, if you like horror, you like sci-fi, you like fantasy, it's gonna be right up your alley.
Oh, I was also gonna say, there is a sequel. I have not seen it, but it is baffling.
You can actually rent or stream that anywhere.
Oh, actually, I do. It is. I feel it's my civic duty to tell everyone in the world that Heavy Metal 2000 is a terrible piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's so fucking
Are there
disappointing.
boobs?
I mean, yeah, there's boobs. There's actually way less boobs.
Oh.
Well, actually, I don't know.
Of course.
I don't know.
What
I don't
a
know if
fail.
there's. I actually don't know if there are way less boobs because I couldn't get past 10 fucking minutes of it because it's so fucking bad.
Oh, you didn't even finish it.
Was there an order?
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it all. On my rewatch a year ago or 2 years ago, it's fucking bad. The story is just, it's bad. I mean, it's just like every kind of bad.
Is there a space orb in this one?
I don't even think the Lochnar is super present at the beginning. They do like bad CGI. It's the soundtrack is trash. There's it's just bad. Like everything is.
I believe it.
But for a movie that is the easiest thing in the world to have a sequel to, I don't understand why there's not like 10 sequels.
No,
you know, that's a good point.
Like, there should.
I guess it's just demand. I guess
Yeah.
it's too cult of a following.
Yeah.
I guess.
No, I feel
just
like
there's no cult movie that has like 5 sequels. You know, there's just not.
No.
Like that's not how cult.
I mean, that's why they're cult movies because they
what's-
were underappreciated.
What's
in their
sad,
time.
if you do watch that, if you do watch Heavy Metal 2000, like, it just feels so different.
Yeah.
None of the charm, you don't get invested. It's just fucking lazy. And it didn't have to be. Like, he could have had a really good sequel.
Because, like, you don't even need to connect it in any way, right? And it'd
No,
be
not
stupid
really.
to connect it.
We should add it to
Except
the
for the
list. We could do a fuck this movie film festival.
Yeah.
So we had 2, right? We had
Old Boy. Oh, wait, what are you talking about?
Oh, so we had the remake of Old Boy.
Yeah. And
then
the remake of
the live action version of Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
And then we could do Heavy Metal 2000.
Yeah.
Like we need like 3 more of these. Like 3 more of these we could do an all day like Saturday film festival.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. It's just, I mean, it's going to be terrible. We're going to need lots of drugs and stuff.
You know what I add to that? The sequel to Boondock Saints. That was a piece of fucking shit. Did you ever watch that?
I didn't.
Well, you know the first movie.
God, it was bad.
The first movie, Boondock Saints, I did not watch for the longest time, and it's because I worked at Blockbuster, and so the way it worked when you worked at Blockbuster is every Monday you would get the shipment for basically like 8 days later. So like this Monday, I am getting in boxes of movies that are going to be released the following Tuesday. So 8 days from now. And so as the employees, every week you got 5 free rentals to take home and like watch. And like you were actually encouraged to watch the new stuff so that when a customer comes up and asks you about it, you can speak intellectually about the new movie, you know?
Right.
Makes sense. It's one of the greatest perks of one of the greatest jobs I've ever had. And I'll never forget. Oh wait, what movie were we even just
Boondock Saints.
Boondock Saints. Okay, so
I'll never forget.
Yeah. So Boondock. Okay, so basically every week you get these big boxes, and a lot of it's like whatever the strategically place studio movie that's being released on, like DVD or video or whatever this week. But then there's also be like independents and B movies and like shit gets like all kinds of shit gets released every week.
Mm-hmm.
But there was like I felt there was a trap, right? Like so there ended up being this like, oh, like we didn't like, so if it was an independent film, you only get a couple copies of it, right? Mm-hmm. Like if it was a huge studio movie, you get like 400 copies of it.
Yeah.
And then there were these like crazy movies that would show up. I've never heard of it, but we got like 30 copies of it.
Yeah.
And like, so the first time I saw it, I watched one of these movies. I'm like, well, that wasn't very good. And like, I started to notice this trend, and the production company was called Two Left Shoes.
Yeah.
And then I started to, like, over time, I realized all of the ones that said Two Left Shoes on the back also had a sticker on the front that said Blockbuster exclusive. Only available at Blockbuster. And so I probably watched like 7 or 8 of these before I realized what it was.
Right.
It's like Blockbuster's production company. It's just, they're just jamming out shit at every turn.
Sure.
Boondock Saints was made by Two Left Shoes.
Okay.
It was a Blockbuster exclusive for 1 year before anybody else had any rights to it.
I did not know that.
So I did not watch it for the longest time just because I turned the cover box over, saw the Two Left Shoes logo, and said, this is a piece of shit. And I refused to watch it. And people would tell me, like, no, I'm telling you, this movie's actually good. And I'd be like, you have terrible taste in movies if you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, having never seen it myself, I finally did watch it, and it is the only Two Left Shoes movie that was worth a shit ever.
It's good. It's good, but the sequel is just like...
I guess that's what happens when your cult classics get sequels. They suck.
No, exactly. It was literally just slapsticky comic relief. It's the
same two leads, right?
Yeah. And it's just so bad.
I thought the movie was good.
It's over the top and campy enough. I mean, for sure, for the first film it is, but like...
It also, a lot of the... I get, like... Do you get any Blues Brothers vibes off this?
It's been a long time since I've watched it, so...
it's like they're the whole like we're on a mission from God kind of thing. It gives me a very like.
No, yeah, for sure.
I remember the first time I watched it, I'm like, man, this like I don't know why I'm getting like a real like Blues Brothers vibe.
No, for sure. All right,
another one that's due for a rewatch. I can't remember the last time I saw the Blues Brothers.
Dude, I haven't seen that shit.
That first Blues Brothers movie.
It's got like the greatest car chase of all time.
Like an awesome car chase.
All right, so. On to the next movie, and this is Spine of Night. And so when you put me on the spot, I
did put you on the spot.
I had an idea that I actually, after rewatching, thought...
Did you make the wrong choice?
Well, as far as a double feature goes, because you don't necessarily want to be too similar. And like, while these two movies are, Spine of Night and Heavy Metal are very different, they are similar enough that
they're both animated.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like...
That's all we need.
If you watch them, the similarities are there, but it just depends. My first pick was ckery, which is one of the like most iconic anime movies ever, and I feel like that still would have been a pretty good double feature for this. But Spine of Night is something that's pretty recent. It was a Shudder exclusive.
Yes, if you want to watch it, it is available on Shudder and whatever services you have paired with your Shudder.
So it's way
less... a lot easier to watch Spine of Night than it is
way easier. It's a lot less campy. It's a lot less fun. It's way headier. It's honestly a lot darker. Way more murder. There's so much murder.
It doesn't have a tagline on Letterboxd, but the premise is, in this ultra-violent fantasy epic, ancient dark magic falls into sinister hands and unleashes ages of suffering onto mankind. A group of heroes from different eras and cultures must band together in order to defeat it at all costs.
You say there's no tagline?
Not on Letterboxd, at least. I mean, it was like a... I feel like
there's a clever thing in there somewhere with like getting laid. because like there's this like like creepy flower thing.
Yeah.
Evil is about to get
it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a getting laid joke in there somewhere.
Yeah,
Once you see the
for
movie,
sure.
you'll understand.
I think with like straight to streaming movies where this movie isn't really advertised with like a poster or anything.
Yeah,
so it's like,
no.
they don't. I don't know how many modern like streaming movies have like taglines.
Yeah.
anymore, unless
Yeah.
they have it in the trailer.
So it's a different experience. It's not as fun for sure, but it's much more on a serious note. It's much more epic, but it's a good flick, man. It's similar in animation style, rotoscoped, very much rotoscoped,
Almost exclusively.
Yeah, well, for the characters, all
Yeah,
the background, of course, is like very, very nice, several different kinds of animation, but super well done, super fucking pretty, super expansive, super epic. This movie is very, very epic for sure. It spans a lot of time.
Agreed. I got a vibe of so I like the original actress, the old lady at the beginning that first has the lay.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Lucy Lawless?
Yeah.
I definitely
not
gotta,
realize that.
Yeah, she's the main chick. Isn't she?
Yeah.
There were actually quite a few names in that, weren't there? Or like there were a handful.
Yeah, I mean, I recognize most of them just watching it.
I recognize one by voice.
Yeah.
Richard
Patton
E.
Oswalt.
Grant was the Guardian.
Okay.
Patton Oswalt was like
Patton
that
Oswalt
first
was the one that was
evil
unmistakable
king.
to me. Patton Oswalt's voice is unmistakable.
And Joe Manganiello is in it. Those are the most notable, but I somehow didn't pick up on Lucy Lawless.
Yeah.
So there was I'm gonna butcher this. There was a Love, Death, and Robots episode that was like super realistic animation, and it was like this like dude in like a river with like
Yes.
Yeah,
Like,
it was the
Spanish
last
conquistadors?
episode of the last season.
yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but like I totally got those kind of vibes watching this film and that character
Yeah.
with the lay.
Right.
Like I kind of thought that it was like a similar character that
No,
way.
I
Yeah.
mean, and because I think why that is. So this whole film
It's
is
like
premised,
almost godlike.
Yeah,
Like
this whole film is premised on kind of an innocent capturing of power that gets exploited. It's exploitation of power because like this whole film centers around the Swamp Witch, which is the main character voiced by Lucy Lawless. The power in this film, as opposed to the Green Orb, the Lochnar from Heavy Metal, are these flowers that once you get into the film, you learn come from dead gods, basically. And so these flowers are like the fucking key to knowledge of the universe at large. And the Swamp Witch just comes across them. Like they flitter down from, there's this high ass mountaintop on this world where a god died and these flowers, these blooms came from, and somehow the seeds got to this swamp. And so the Swamp Witch just like naturally and graciously and respectfully like cares for and uses these flowers and like respects what the power is. And then as soon as a typical human power structure gets sight of this, they immediately fucking exploit it, you know, as soon as they fucking can. So, and I think that's where that connection comes from, is because like that's first thing that happens, like, oh fuck,
from the Love, Death, and Robots story.
Yeah.
No,
you can,
like,
as soon as you see this,
like, so you get my similar,
Oh yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, so it goes with this swamp woman being snatched up by this local king who's a petty king, which is voiced by Patton Oswalt, and then having to display her power because there happens to be a scribe from another kingdom, I guess.
Like a monastery type.
A monastery kind of calls her out on what he knows that she has, gets her to use her power, and then immediately fucks her over and murders her, and she's dead for most of the movie, although she's narrating most of the movie too. And then you actually don't see that guy for a little bit, and then it comes back to where he is able to get a hold of, through the monastery, a book to free himself and then basically enslave the world. But yeah, it's just all about power and what power does to people. And it's violent and it's fucking big and it's epic, but it's very poignant and it's a visual feast for sure.
Honestly, I was really impressed and surprised by the scope and the scale and the length, like how it doesn't really give years because it doesn't need to. It's not on Earth, but it goes like hundreds, if not thousands.
Yeah,
of years
it's a good several hundred years of time.
I honestly really enjoyed the film.
Yeah,
I did too.
I'm not gonna lie, man. When you told me the picks, I was just like, okay,
yeah,
cartoon,
like more cartoons. All right, here we go, guys.
Yeah, these are decidedly not cartoons for sure.
But no, like I feel like
I
enjoyed them well beyond my expectation, and I thought it was a good double feature. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe it wasn't the best choice for maybe there was a better pairing out there. But I feel like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because
it was solid. It's just they are very different. They're very, very different because heavy metal is.
I think that's important. It's important for them to be different.
They're very similar in artistry and they're very similar in scope, but heavy metal is way more fun than Spine of Night. I think that's a very big difference.
I think it was a pretty good pairing. It's a weird thing because I like a good 90-minute movie, and I liked this movie and the storytelling, but I kind of felt like this should have been like a trilogy.
No, it could be way longer for sure.
I was really loving the world building, and they get into some crazy stuff. And the bird people, they're in it for like 10 minutes or less. You know?
Most of the characters aren't in it for very long because it's telling so much of a story at once. But no, it was something
I'm noticing, like just an observation, like in the few animated films we covered. Most animated films are pretty short.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't you don't see a lot of 2.5 hour, 3 hour.
That's true. Well, because a lot of them are geared towards families and kids, and so a kid's not going to sit in a theater for 2.5 hours.
No, I think this one could. So one thing.
That being said, I think Spider-Verse was 2.5 hours.
Yeah. So one thing
there's like no kids in the audience. It's like their parents dragging them to it.
Yeah.
With these two stories, so the glowing orb, the Lochnar in the first film was the storyteller. In this one, it was the Swamp Witch. Mm-hmm. And we did skip over some of the storytelling a little bit. There was one really, really nice story, and it was how they set up Spinal Night is the Swamp Witch finds the guardian of these flowers and tries to rouse him basically, and he's just fucking defunct. There's a guardian that's ended up through the ages to guard these flowers from humanity. It's kind of an interesting concept too, because it's not necessarily guarding humanity. Actually, that's kind of funny. The intention isn't to guard humanity from this power. It's to guard humanity from the knowledge
of the universe
the power contains.
Because they'll just want to kill themselves.
Yeah. So it's okay, we don't want to let people know what anything is, because basically if you take these flowers, you know that your fucking existence is completely fucking meaningless, And so this dude's been holding watch forever, so she's trying to get him roused up.
The concept is almost, it's kind of funny of just a history of people going I gotta figure this out, and then they kill the person and figure it out I gotta keep everyone from figuring this out.
No, it's so fun because that's probably, I don't know, in my opinion, that's probably what the universe is. Just on gods, killing gods, more gods, killing gods.
Yeah.
But there's a really poignant story that is told by the Swamp Witch once the evil guy is in full evil guy mode and decimating the fucking landscape, murdering all kinds of people, of just two people that are able to survive an attack and then find a single petal of the flower and burn it and get its benefits and just get to see the world for what it is, and then end up getting murdered by the fucking Imperial forces that are killing everything.
Yeah.
But just that was a very human story. That was really nice to have. But.
Yeah. My favorite part of the movie is the Guardians story. His whole story of like the world and the
I really
killing of the
dug
gods.
that.
The animation there is like so
super high
awesome.
contrast.
And the people are basically just like silhouettes with eyes and
tiny
teeth.
bits.
And like
light.
some of their jewelry and
I
stuff.
really like the Judas character, because like when the Swamp Lady kind of originally gets captured, he's like the first one to help like use like they give you power, use it,
right?
And it's like he's just kind of like that guy that's like pretending to be a friend, but just deep down he's just out for the power. You know?
He was, and it's when he gets to realize his power later, because when you next see that character, he's been trapped in the monastery, and like just being fed
for hundreds of years.
Being fed virgins to fucking satiate his lust for blood. And then as soon as the monastery master gets this book that he knows his power, he gives it to him, he strikes a deal, and it's like hilarious because like you know this guy did, right? Give me power too, we can share it. And the guy's like, we can share some power. And immediately, like, he lets him have a little tip, a little go at it, like, gives him some power. He gets to slice some people in half a little bit. And then, like, there's this dramatic fucking
that was, like, the worst part of the movie. Is like, yes, we can share this power.
And this dude's
like,
like,
good idea. It was my idea. I came up with it. I brokered this whole deal here.
After he murders a handful of people, he gets straight fucking squished. I think he gets melted too. Also, both of these movies, so much melting, man. Vaporizing across the board.
We haven't even mentioned, I think this movie actually has more nudity than Heavy Metal, just by quantity. Because the witch character is naked basically the
entire time. Yeah.
But anyway, these characters in this film have clearly never seen Lord of the Rings. Because they would know that Ian McKellen told them there was only one Lord of the Rings, and he does not share power.
No,
they did not learn this lesson.
No, I love that story. That's what really struck me about this film, just watching it, is because, like, you know, in the world that we live in with the humanity that we have, we always debate on what everything is or isn't, and it's probably as simple as this. You know, like, assume there's a God.
Yeah.
There's a God on top of that God, and probably a God on top of that God, and it probably just never ends.
Yeah.
So everything's just fucking ants getting stepped on at the end of the day. So fucking whatever, you know. Yeah. And that's what this film's idea kind of captures, is exactly that. Like, you don't want to know that. You don't want to know that it's all just
people really like to think that we are God's,
something special,
God's one creation, and the idea that there probably is, maybe there is a God, and he probably doesn't even know we exist.
Or doesn't give a fuck, or we're a science experiment, or whatever. But the point is, like, what this movie really illustrates and captures very well is that existence is a fucking meat grinder. That's what this is about. Like, it's grinding meat, death on life, on death, on life, on death, on life, and that's what we have. And so this movie's fucking, it's pretty heavy. Yeah. When you get into it, for sure.
I thought the animation was like really reserved for like the first half.
Yeah.
And then I guess you get to the end and like, okay, that's why. Because you're saving all that budget for that last 30 minutes.
One thing I like about the movie too is the high contrast. So the only thing that's rotoscoped in this movie is just the characters. And then everything else is very like super well drawn.
It's rotary scoped.
Rotoscope, yeah.
Rotoscope,
yeah.
You want to explain?
So
to
it's
me,
you
like
film
I'm 10, like
you
what
film
that means.
An actual person doing whatever actions they would be doing, and then an animator draws
like
what they see
over
in
the top of.
It's basically like,
so it's like tracing.
Kind of.
Not exactly. No, it's a lot of extra steps to capture.
It's like the 2D animation equivalent of like motion capture.
It is exactly that. It's exactly that. Instead of putting exactly.
Yeah.
It's fucking green screen circa 1975.
Yeah.
But somebody actually just draws on the
draws on the shit. That's
and
exactly
you
what
can really tell when they get that much more fluid and like realistic body movements.
So, and that's the thing.
Proportions.
When we were watching this movie, and I'm like, man, this would be a fucking hell of a movie to watch on acid because of that animation. When you look at these characters, when it's like a pause moment, and the characters like body's not moving, but they're speaking. When you look at the rest of the character that's not speaking,
all the lines are moving.
Everything is moving.
Yeah.
And when you take acid or mushrooms, folks, if you don't know,
like oh my god, you're probably gonna hate me for making this comparison, but the animation, Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah,
is the comparison. It's literally
yeah,
Beavis and
the
Butthead
lines.
Yeah,
it looks
like
they work trying
like
to
all
make it
the
match up.
every
Like
single
the
line
frame.
is moving.
No, so what you get with rotoscope is a surreal effect where it's like it's not as like sketchy or rough as Beavis and Butthead, but it's just like it's present.
Yeah,
you have to pay attention to it. And like watching the movie again, I started to pay attention to it and it's like, fuck, that's weird. Because like there's no point where any line on anything is not moving.
Yeah.
And like when you take fucking shrooms and acid, you look at your carpet that has texture, that shit's moving. So if you were to watch this movie on acid, like, the shit's already moving, probably moving some more.
as like I feel like on the stance of an artist, I could totally get that. Like being a home brewer, I get the idea of like creating something that is a living, breathing thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And like I could totally see that as an animator, like
it's
having
super.
that, like it's like your work is alive. And
Oh
it's
no,
always
it is
breathing.
absolutely, and it's cool as shit, man. If we ever get a chance to, I'd like to watch Fire and Ice with you guys sometime, which is Frank Frazetta's.
Which when I was doing some research on this, the Spine of Night. Like I read a bunch of reviews and stuff just to kind of get other people's thoughts on it,
Right.
to chew on a little bit more. And Fire and Ice, I felt like was brought up in every review as something that they were comparing it to. So I feel like there's a lot.
No,
of,
actually,
they pulled a lot from that. I guess
they did for sure. They did. It's a little bit more.
No, I'd love to watch that. I haven't seen it, so
it's fucking cool.
Especially if it's as good as these two films. I like honestly is the. I know you tried to do it episode 2. I have to override it every single time. But I know you tried to do it like episode 2, like get me on an animation train. And I'm never gonna be there. I'm just not. It's not who I am. But like I really did. I was not all that enthusiastic about that movie night, and I actually had a blast that movie. I had a really fun time watching these two.
These films are great pieces of art for sure. You should
good
check
movies
out
to
both
drink
of them.
too.
They're very like obscure things by now to most people. Heavy metal is obscure to a lot of people. Nobody's ever heard of Spine of Night, probably, except for like horror
the first time I had heard about it, I was at Walmart and they had the Blu-ray, like a real expensive like steelbook Blu-ray.
Right.
And I picked it up and I was like, "What the fuck is this? Is this some cult classic from the '80s I never heard of?" And then I looked it up and it's from 2021. And I mean.
So this is only a couple of years old.
Yeah, no, it's really recent.
I was totally.
You wouldn't know that from the animation.
No,
that's
what's great.
That's
what's great, man.
That's cool.
It's a very old school technique. I love that. I didn't even think about it in those terms, but that's exactly what it is. It's fucking old school green screen.
And because they're usually, it's like it's not. It never feels like a shortcut. It feels like they're using that motion of a human.
Well,
movement,
and it's so much fucking work. Really, like so. You're kind of like you're getting all the things, but there's still a guy like doing that. Like that's a lot, man. Like fuck, so much energy. But so these were the picks. I knew I was gonna get heavy metal off my chest eventually. There's like 5 more other things that's gonna happen for sure. I was actually excited that you put me on the spot for a second pick. Akira's happening too, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Akira's fucking gonna happen because you need to see that.
We'll have to wait a little bit for Akira because I just pre-ordered the 4K Blu-ray.
Oh, shit.
So the double feature thing is not forever, but for a limited time. For a limited time only. I want to do a few rotations of this.
We need to get some like longer.
I do want to. I think maybe even my next pick will be like a 3.5 hour movie.
And I think that's like because you asked one time, is it the new norm? I don't think it's the new norm, but what I think it is if your pick is a 90-minute movie, it's a double feature. Give me something else. If your pick is 2.5 hours, it's a standalone, and afterwards we'll watch an episode of Bob's Burgers or something.
Or The Leftovers.
Something. So that's kind of where we're at with the rotation. So putting a bow on the double feature, John, I was blown away. Like expectations blown out of the water. I loved both movies. I plan on watching both of them with Molly.
Nice.
She's gonna appreciate them probably more than I do.
Yeah,
she's never seen Heavy Metal.
Oh fuck! Also,
she has never seen it. Not one time.
I missed it in the opening bit, but I've watched 20 minutes of Princess Mononoke, which is the Ghibli. Absolutely, you should watch that.
You've only watched 20 minutes. You can't make that statement.
You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen all. No,
I've only seen 20 minutes.
But I'm just saying, that opening 20 minutes, like that's the Ghibli movie you need to watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. So we're putting a bow on this. Everybody say fuck these movies don't suck.
Yeah.
I'd say Heavy Metal is like fuck. That movie's an all-timer. It's just like stoner, as good as it gets.
To me, it's super. Like it's a piece. Like it's an eighth of my identity. Like it really is. Like
so, I had seen the entire thing before when 30 years ago, and
oof, you're aging yourself, man.
It's fine. I'm old. I'm getting there.
He's old.
But the one thing I will say is, there's no way I would have ever appreciated it at that age like I did now.
Yeah.
So to me, this movie actually got better with age.
Yeah.
Like it's timeless. Like
I really.
And I appreciate pointy nipples. So
it's timeless for sure.
And fuck, I'd say Spine of Night. I'd be curious. I'd like to wait a year or two and give it a good rewatch.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to age really good.
I think so too. I think there's going to be more to that movie every time.
Did we get where that was available?
Shudder.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I just really wish there was a more extended story.
I know.
Yeah. Honestly, I know. It could have filled out a lot more.
It could have. But
the reviews
keep a lot of.
The reviews I was reading kind of had the same sentiment.
Yeah.
Like they thought that it took from some influences and had a good meat there, but maybe there were a few holes that they just didn't take the time to explore.
See,
and when you make an hour and 20-minute movie that's you're gonna have.
And it's not, to me, it's not holes. It's just they just couldn't cover it.
I didn't feel like there was holes. It's just I wanted more.
It's just they were cramming a lot of instances of this thing that spans 500 years into an hour and a half.
It's hard to make an interesting fantasy world and then to make one and then rush through it in 90 minutes. It's like, oh, man.
Maybe someday we'll get one. There's much more likelihood of seeing more Spine of Night, the continuation of that.
I mean, it's only 2021, so if they were ever going to do a sequel...
Yeah.
Or a follow-up.
We're calling for
we're about the time.
If anybody that had
it takes 3 years to make an animated film, something like that.
I mean, this was probably pretty low budget, so it probably took them a lot longer than that. But
if you're ants, you can crank that motherfucker out in 6 months.
I mean, they are ants.
But I don't know what Shudder's
That's
franchise budget is like. If they're passing out sequels left and right.
I don't know what Shudder's budget is because some stuff is really low budget and fun. Some stuff has a pretty decent budget. Shudder's weird, man.
Yeah,
it's my favorite streaming service. I dig the fuck out of Shudder. I'm a Shudder champion over here. How about that shit? Have you ever seen Dave Made a Maze?
I have. That movie's great. Yeah.
Dave Made a Maze is fucking sweet.
I haven't seen it.
It's fun as hell.
All right.
Okay.
So we're gonna go to Reese now. And he's gonna do the segment that we do every episode where he tells us why you should go to theaters and what you should be watching. And this week he's gonna tell us why it's Dune 2.
Yeah. I mean, that's really your only option. Last week, on the off week, we got the new Coen brother movie, Drive Away Dolls, which I actually want to see.
Well, what's up? Do you know the story behind this? Why we're getting one brother and not the duo now?
Well, they already split up.
People are just tired of duos.
Not they're done, but one of them, I don't remember which one, did a black and white Macbeth a couple years ago that got nominated for Oscars and stuff. That was just one of them. I don't know if it's the same one as this or the other one, but I know they are already moving towards another project together. So it's not like they had a falling out or anything. I think they just
trying to they're getting older and they want to do all the artistic things.
is directed by Ethan Coen, but it is also co-directed by someone named Trisha Cook. So
they're just doing some
they're just doing some solo projects. So I've heard some fun things, and I love the Coen brothers, so I'm going to give that a try.
I also love the Coen brothers.
Yeah, I don't know how you can't.
They barely miss.
It's honestly, the only reason I don't include them in my Wes Anderson, Quentin Tarantino argument is because there's two of them.
It's not fair.
And it's not fair. No, it's got double the brain power.
There was also I'm sure a great movie called Ordinary Angels, starring Hilary Swank.
Ooh.
She's never made a bad movie.
Never.
Next Karate Kid.
Then catching up on all the normal stuff that's still in theaters. Wonka is still in theaters.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be.
I hope it stays there forever because as soon as it's not, I'm gonna be expected to watch
it. Migration, The Boys in the Boat, The Beekeeper, Argyle.
It's a lot of bad titles, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of bad
The
stuff.
Boys in the Boat, The Beekeeper.
Oh, the Beekeeper is especially a bad title because it's a goddamn action movie about it's like a fucking.
Well, I think it's another where it's like, oh no, here he comes, the beekeeper, and the beekeeper's like a secret society of agents.
It is. It's or some
I
stupid nickname.
I still feel like there's going to be a scene where he kicks a shark.
I
face.
hate.
Probably.
It's annoying because
punches.
It's a title that doesn't sound like what it is.
No, it's annoying.
You know, that title could be like I don't know, a thriller or a horror or a lot of things, but it's a shitty action spy movie. That's what it is, and fucking Beekeeper is not a good name for that.
No,
it's annoying. It's misleading. Fuck you guys.
Lisa Frankenstein, Anyone But You, Madam Web, and Bob Marley, One Love.
Yeah.
But there is one movie to see in theaters this week and for the rest of March, probably.
I'm going to see it this weekend. That's what I'm
I'm going to see it at least this weekend.
I'm going down to Indy this weekend, so I'm going to find the fucking
They got a nice IMAX down there.
Yeah, nice.
Dune Part 2.
Yeah, we're watching that shit.
166 minutes. That's 2 hours and 46 minutes. Is that right?
Yeah. Oh man,
not even that long.
God,
honestly.
damn, I'm fucking so excited.
Oh my god, this movie is going to be incredible. I don't even have the full cast list here.
I saw the pre-screen comments were like outlandish. Like nobody had anything bad to say.
Some of the best.
It's like perfect.
Dune is some of the best sci-fi that exists. And
they do these pre-screens to get ideas because they don't have a final cut. So it's just
I'm sorry. I'm actually super satisfied to see Dune do so well.
Yeah.
Because I'm so fucking tired of Star Wars. Because Star Wars is not really that good of sci-fi. It's fucking.
It's not. It's technically it's not even sci-fi.
No.
It's fantasy.
It's fucking generic.
It's all the same.
It's baseline. It's made on a goddamn toy line. So I'm very excited to see some real sci-fi like Dune get a fucking hold. Thank you.
And it's the kind of it's like Blade Runner 2049 where I just kind of keep pinching myself because it's unbelievable that we got the best possible version of a Dune movie.
2049.
Blade Runner 2049 is wait a minute,
really
we're
good.
allowed to have good sequels?
Yeah, dude, it's perfect. And they even respected the aesthetic of the first film. Didn't change everything to floating touch screens and fucking yada yada yada.
That's like
it's
a perfect
exactly
game.
what it should be this many years later.
Dude,
that's
so
exactly
good.
What it is.
Yeah.
So good.
I love 2049 in that it's a perfect sequel to me because it doesn't need to exist. The first movie stands on its own.
Oh yeah,
but it's a fantastic.
They filled the story
movie.
out and did it well, and it's amazing. Definitely go watch Dune. I'm gonna watch Dune.
Dune 2.
And actually, if you haven't, you should also watch the David Lynch Dune from the '80s.
I purposely at this point have not watched it because I've never read Dune.
Yeah.
And so this is my first exposure to the Dune story. I don't know how Dune ends.
Dude, it's good stuff.
So probably in the next couple weeks,
we're going to start digging into some David Lynch at some point on this podcast, and that's when it's going to start going off the rails.
The Dune David Lynch is because I never knew that it was David Lynch, and you watch it, and it's still no, it's not the same. Not, I mean, he does all kinds of shit. So I don't know.
He does one thing.
He does David Lynch.
There's one thing that David Lynch is really good at, and it's being a big fucking weirdo.
Yeah. Well, and dude,
he is very good.
So
at being
the
a big
80s
fucking
Dune
weirdo.
is so good at that, but there were just moments where it was like not knowing that it was David Lynch and then watching it again is like, all right, yep, there it was. Right there. Right there, that's David Lynch. But dude, it's the Harkonnen.
Yeah.
The creepy, like the bad guy.
Baron Harkonnen.
So much worse in the 80s Dune.
Yeah.
Like they make him disgusting in this Dune by just like being this gray, obese guy.
Creepy and floating.
He's way grosser in the David Lynch Dune. Oh my god, he's fucking nasty.
He knows how to do gross.
He's covered in just fucking pulsing, oozing pustules.
Does anyone
and shit.
do gross like the 80s? Like,
dude, yeah, no, exactly. They were
80s
sci-fi. But and like he's got all these fucking boils just oozing shit the entire movie, and like his two like goon nephews that are his fucking henchmen. Mm-hmm. Like one of them is played by Sting in the 80s. David, like that Harkonnen is like Sting gets out of the shower and he's like, fucking nephew. Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So Dune has extremely high bar for me, and I think it's gonna surpass it if anything. So
it's good shit. So yeah, go watch Dune.
Go support Dune in theaters.
All right.
It's supposed to be seen.
All right, so it's my turn now to
let's
tell
hear these
you
picks.
what we'll be
these
focusing
picks.
on in the next episode.
I'm curious.
So I had like 3 different possible double feature angles to go. The one I really wanted to go with didn't actually work because we had to do it over 2 days because one of the movies was like 2 hours and 30 minutes. The other was 2 hours and 13 minutes. That doesn't really work as a double feature in the same night unless it's, some off the wall like Saturday or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I landed on is I'm doing the theme is creative writing. Okay, so I'm doing a creative writing double feature featuring 2 what I think are unique and original screenplays. So both of these movies also both ironically have 2 leading men.
I think I know where you're going.
Who are funny men in non-comedic roles.
Are we
I have a guess for one of them.
Are we doing some Birdman?
No. We're not.
Stranger Than Fiction?
Huh? Movie number 1 is Stranger Than Fiction, starring Will Ferrell, and written by Zach Helm. A completely original movie. You will never find anything like it. Mm-hmm. That'll be the first movie we'll be watching. The encore, the second film, if you're going to do creative writing, you got to do a Charlie Kaufman film. And so I have chosen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
It's been a long time since I watched that movie.
And guys, I thought about this a lot, and I believe that Stranger Than Fiction and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is a damn near flawless double feature.
Yeah. No.
I thought you were going to say adaptation. You were talking about Charlie Kaufman.
Yeah.
It's literally about writing a screenplay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, dude, I've been needing to.
Well, that's the thing with Charlie Kaufman. Like, Charlie Kaufman is a genius writer. If he could just get away from having to write himself into every fucking script.
Yeah.
And he does that in this movie.
Yeah.
He gets away from writing himself into the script. So that's
All
good.
right. That's dope. Nice.
Stranger Than Fiction is not streaming anywhere, but it's available to buy in all the normal places. It looks like Eternal Sunshine is currently on the Criterion channel. Otherwise, it's available to buy in all the normal places.
Nice. So watch those movies and then join us back.
One more little
weeks.
tidbit I will give on this is not only do they both feature funny men and non-comedic roles, both movies feature a female lead that I did not think was actually attractive until I saw each of these movies, and that is Maggie Gyllenhaal and Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
And both of them have like weird like pink hair or something, which is also a weird, and tattoos.
Right.
Like give somebody pink hair and tattoos, and all of a sudden they're way more attractive. I guess is the like lesson here.
Tattoos do that.
But anyway, that's next episode,
Yeah,
and that's
2
going to do it
weeks.
for this episode.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for I would say thanks to everyone who stayed for the entire 2 hours and 26 minutes, but that's just the three of us. So
Yeah.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Good day.
Peace.